All new Dr. Phil today.
I just want to have a child so bad.
How far will some women go to have a baby?
You've actually fantasized about having an affair.
I see men as a potential sperm donor.
What to do when only one of you wants a child?
I really want to be a mother, but I don't want to lose him.
Would you resent her if she got pregnant?
From age issues to costly fertility treatments.
I'm not putting ourselves in great debt for something that might not work.
Desperate to be a mom.
I think about life without Jordan, and I can't imagine it.
Plus,
Our cameras are there.
as one couple finds out if their final attempt at getting pregnant worked.
Hello?
Coming up. Let's do it.
I want you to get excited about your life.
Here we go, in 10.
Stand by, camera 6.
If it's happening now, we're going to deal with it now.
Stand by, Dr. Phil.
This is going to be a changing day in your life.
Stand by A, and roll A. Check in.
Go, Dr. Phil.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Okay, now I have a question for you ladies out there. Just how far would you go to be a mother? If you couldn't have a child, if there was a problem, how far would you go? Well, today, we're going to meet women so desperate to get pregnant that they're willing to risk just about anything. Now, the sound of a woman's biological clock can sometimes be ticking like a time bomb, and these women will just simply stop at nothing to get what they want, and what they want is a baby, and they want it right now. Now, my first guess problem is not getting pregnant. It's her husband not wanting to get pregnant. Now, when Keith and Tanya got married almost 6 years ago, they both agreed not to have children. Now, Tanya recently had a little change of heart. Some people call that bait and switch. You say one thing now and something later. And now she is absolutely obsessed with having a baby, thinks about it every day. But changing her mind may come at a very high cost. Take a look.
My husband and I have been married for 6 years, and I desperately want to have a child, but he does not.
I don't want to have a child. One of the things that attracted me to Tanya was the fact that she didn't want to have any kids.
When we first got married, I didn't want to have children, but I do now.
I thought the issue was done. I'm 48 years old and my wife is 35. Tanya told me 8 months ago that she had been having baby thoughts.
I was afraid to tell him because I was afraid he would leave me.
The very first time she said anything, I said, we have got some serious problems.
Motherhood is always on my mind. 9 times out of 10, when we discuss having a child, it ends up in a fight.
I have a low tolerance for children. It's the one thing that I just don't want to do.
I know I'm asking the impossible, and he has always been very emphatic that he did not want to have children.
I have 2 kids from a previous marriage, and they're teenagers, and I had a vasectomy over 15 years ago. I made that decision not to have any more kids.
I have had daydreams about how easy it would be to get pregnant by someone through an affair. I see other men as potential sperm donors.
It's a double-edged sword. Either Tanya's going to be happy or I'm going to be happy.
We have beat this horse to death, and we have not been able to resolve it.
I'm afraid it's going to tear us apart and we will end up in divorce.
It's a deal breaker for our marriage if we don't have kids.
My biggest fear is that I'm going to lose my wife.
I will resent Keith if I don't have a child, and it will be the end of our marriage.
Okay. Now, what happened here? Because up front you said, no, I'm okay with not having children. Did you mean that when you said it?
I did. I really didn't think I wanted to have children then. And looking back now, I feel like that I shouldn't have said, no, I don't want to ever have children. I should have said, I don't want to have children now, but I don't know what the future holds, because I had no idea that I would change my mind.
Yeah, you never say never, as they say.
I've learned that now.
How y'all get along, aside from this?
Wonderfully.
We have a wonderful relationship.
And that's part of the problem.
That is the very big problem.
Yeah.
I mean, we
and
have
it sounds funny that that's a problem, but that is part of the problem. You don't want to jeopardize that.
That's absolutely the truth.
Yes.
The worst thing that I can see happening to me in the future is I lose my wife.
Because he said one of the reasons that he fell in love with you is that he had had his children and you didn't feel the need for children, and so that was very appealing to him.
And I didn't.
And you've actually fantasized about having an affair, not because you want to go out and have sex, you're just looking for a sperm donor.
And that is, it's embarrassing and it's sad to say, but I see men as a potential sperm donor. I see someone, and I'm thinking about this all the time, and I think how easy it would be to just get pregnant.
This isn't just you woke up one day and said, you know, I think I do want a kid. This is a deep longing and yearning on your part, right?
Yes. I thought for the first few weeks that I started having baby thoughts, is what I call it, that it was something that would go away. And I hoped it would go away because I was afraid to tell Keith, and I was afraid of what it would do to us.
At this point, you know she's hurting about this, right?
Absolutely.
And this is a painful thing to you.
And
right?
Very. I really want to be a mother, but I don't want to lose him. I want us to be that happy family. I want us to bond together and grow together like couples do when they have a baby. I want it to be a happy experience, not tear us apart.
Do you feel that you would resent her if she got pregnant?
on one hand, I would resent the fact that it's not what I wanted. But then in my mind, I say, I love her, and I should be able to do this for her. And I just can't. And that's what hurts me is I'm willing to do it because I love her, but in my mind, it's just not something I want.
Is this a deal breaker? You know, it doesn't always turn out happy when a child is introduced and it changes things, changes freedom, causes sacrifice, changes the dynamic of the relationship. A lot of balls in the air here. I'm going to tell you what I think when we come back.
I worry about having a child now because I'm 48.
Many people have children even though they're older.
I don't want to be 70 years old and having a teenager.
I'm willing to sacrifice and do what it takes to have a baby.
Raising another child was not how I saw my retirement.
When I see a husband and wife and their child, I don't know if I will have that.
One side of me says have another child to make Tanya happy, but the other side of me says you're going to make yourself miserable. I'm a very selfish person. I like my time with her. It's going to totally change the way we are.
Well, imagine being a woman so obsessed with having a baby that you'd sacrifice your finances, relationship, maybe even your marriage to make it happen because it's such a powerful and overwhelming drive. Now, we're here with Tanya, who basically has changed her mind. She's essentially reneged on a deal that she made previously with her husband, Keith, and waited 6 years to do it with regard to not wanting children. Are you at all concerned that the boy's getting a little long in the tooth? I mean, he is 48.
I know age is important, and I know that he may not be able to do all of those things that, say, a dad who's in his 20s and 30s are able to do with their son or daughter, but I don't think age is a reason not to have a child. In this sense, it's not like he's 70 now. I mean, so I can't see that 48 to me is not old. So it's not a reason to not have a child.
And he looks pretty frisky.
He is.
He looks pretty frisky.
He's healthy.
And I think one of the things that you have to do in negotiation is first to assess your positions. And I'm sure you're not looking forward to the prospects of a surgery.
No, not at all.
Yeah. And, you know, it's called a vas-deferral reanastomosis. And
Yeah, okay.
that's where they put them back together.
Right.
And I have to tell you, Robin and I had one child, Jay. And not 6, but 7 years later, after she had agreed, we'll just have one. We said we would have one, and she said she was good with that, and I was good with that. So I had a vasectomy. And 7 years later, I heard her telling somebody else, not intended for my ears, she said one of the things she regretted most in her life was agreeing to have just one child. And she was telling someone this, that it's one of the things that she regretted the most. True?
Very true.
You are such a crybaby.
I know. Because I sit here right now and I think about living my life without Jordan, and I can't imagine it.
That's Robin with Jordan. So that's the rest of the story. But at the time, really what I asked myself is I said, I've got to assess my position. I said, on a scale of 1 to 10, where is she on wanting a baby? And on a scale of 1 to 10, where am I on not wanting a baby? And it was clear to me, as it is with you, she was a 10. She was a 10 for 10 on wanting a baby. And I sat down and thought it through, and in honest assessment, I had to say I don't know, it varied across a couple of days, but I was like a 2 to a 5 on not wanting another baby. And so my assessment was, just being a logical male, I kind of did the math and said, this is hugely important to her to do, and only mildly important to me to not do, and I didn't feel like I should assert my mild preference over her overwhelming desire. And I did want to be sure she was a 10. So I was making rounds at the hospital, and I actually called her and said, well, I'm getting ready to go in and talk to this woman that's wanting to have a baby, and her husband he's not that hot on it, so I guess I kind of need to go in and see if I can talk her out of it. Oh my God, she got up on her hind legs. She said, don't you do that. Don't you go in that hospital room and tell that lady she's not going to have a baby. Don't you do that. She knows what she wants, because she didn't know I'd heard her, that I had heard what she had said. So I was just kind of giving her a little test to see if she was really a 10. And so I hung up the phone, and our OBGYN that had delivered Jay was standing there, and he said, let's go do it. I said, get away from me, you're a gynecologist. What do you know about this? And he said, well, my brother-in-law is a urological surgeon, and he does this microsurgery, and I just paged him. He's here in the building. And she didn't know it until after I had done it. Because I didn't want her feeling like she had pushed me into it. I just made the decision. And I have to say, like Robin, I just can't imagine living my life without knowing Jordan. So I probably should recuse myself from this process, but where are you? Are you a 10 on a 10?
Yes.
Where are you on a 1 to 10?
Between a 7 and a 10. Sometimes I'm like, absolutely not. And when I heard that, I'm a 5. I mean, I love her so much, Dr. Phil, and I'm not going to have this ruin us. I'm not going to let it happen.
But I don't want to make him miserable by making him do something that I know this is the one thing in the world.
And I'll tell you, that's why I did it the way I did it. I mean, those guys pulled me up, the surgeon and our OBGYN pulled me up in front of the house, opened the door, put me out, and put a blue baby gift and a pink baby gift under each arm and sent me walking up the driveway. And let me tell you, you walk real funny.
Oh, I remember the first part.
Yeah, oh, it ain't nothing. Come on, I don't want to kid you.
I've heard.
I don't want to kid you about that.
I have had friends tell me that it's
I don't want to kid
you
you about that. But I mean, it's not horrible. But you do walk funny for a while.
Those doctors aren't backstage, are they?
Not as far as you know. But I mean, you know, I guess it comes down, it comes down to this for you and for me. Part of being a husband, part of being a partner in life is, I really do, I don't consider myself a paragon of marriage or mental health, but I do wake up every day and kind of part of my psychological DNA is to say, what can I do today to make her life better? What can I do today to make her happier, more joyful, more wonderful life? And on that day, when I woke up, I had a huge opportunity to absolutely light up her life. And so, was there a cost to me to do it? Yeah, both short and long term. I mean, the short-term penalty, and then long-term, and I really did think about, you know, we were coaching t-ball at the time and soccer, and I'm standing out there freezing on that soccer field. And then when we got pregnant again, I said, okay, in 7 years, I'm going to be standing there freezing again. And so I coached basketball for 14 years at the Y instead of 7, because they're 7 years apart. And they told us we would have a 50-50 chance of being fertile within a year and a half. And 6 weeks later, my boys did the job. This is something that you two are going to have to sit down and discuss thoughtfully. But I'm trying to give you some food for thought about how to negotiate this. And here's the problem. I've been doing this a long time. This isn't going to go away.
No.
And you have to ask yourself if this is your chance, this is your window to light up her life. And is it a price that you can and are willing to pay?
And not be so selfish.
Well, it's not really selfishness. It's, you have legitimate points, you have legitimate concerns and considerations, and you would have to do thoughtful planning. You're not a bad guy for feeling the way you feel, but relationships are give and take, and you fell in love with her, I didn't.
But can you blame me?
No.
I mean,
No, I can't. All right. Will you all think about this?
yes, sir.
Yes.
All right. All right, we're going to continue this conversation. And coming up, we're going to meet a woman who has considered going behind her husband's back and charging fertility treatments on her credit card so she can have a baby. Not a good plan, but maybe there's an alternative. We'll be right back.
I've spent approximately $5,000 on fertility drugs. We wasted a lot of money on it.
The future between my wife and I is definitely up in the air.
Well, 4 million women in this country get pregnant every year. Now, that's about 10,958 a day. Now, that statistic leaves women like my next guest asking, why can't that be me? Eric and Michelle have been married just over a year. Now, Eric refuses to spend another dime on fertility treatments because it's just not a sure thing. Michelle says, sorry, I just can't take no for an answer.
My husband and I definitely want to have children together, but we have different views of how far we're going to go in order to get that.
The obsession with having children with my wife is definitely a distraction.
We argue almost on a daily basis.
I've told Michelle to stop any of these procedures because we don't have the money.
I was diagnosed with polycystic ovary syndrome. I have to go through a lot of medications, and recently my doctor is wanting me to do injectables.
I don't think spending $2,500 with very little chance of it working is is worth that at all.
Eric definitely does not want to pay for any of it. Eric's main reason for not wanting to have children at this time was to purchase a house.
Those extra expenses makes it very difficult meeting our monthly budget.
I've spent approximately $5,000 on fertility drugs. We've wasted a lot of money on it.
I very much wish that I had the old Michelle back.
Emotionally, we're both drained. Financially, we're draining.
It is a fear of mine that I will end up having some resentment towards her. The future between my wife and I is definitely up in the air.
I would keep trying until I was broke.
Well, you have a sense of urgency here, right?
Absolutely.
Tell me about that.
I've wanted to have children since I was little, and it's always been a dream of mine other than getting married. So I would do almost anything.
And you don't object to having children, right?
Oh, if I could have a child right now, it would be there. We wouldn't be here.
Right. So
Yeah,
you just do it and
absolutely
and move on.
Mm-hmm.
So your objection is what?
I'm not on board putting ourselves behind the 8 ball, putting ourselves in great debt just for something that might not happen, might not work.
You said you'd rather put that in an item you know you're going to get, like a house or whatever.
Yes,
because
exactly.
at least you make the investment, you get the item.
Mm-hmm.
And what do you say to that?
I always say you can always buy a house, you can't always have a child. And I just want to have a child so bad. And it's really hard because the doctors are telling me that the medication's not working so far, and I just want to do anything that I can to be able to keep trying.
If you stop now because he doesn't want to continue to spend the money on this, how are you going to feel about that?
I think I'll regret it. I don't want to end up down the road in a divorce. And I don't want to regret my decision to marry him. He knew from the very beginning that I wanted to have children.
And you've contemplated selling stuff on eBay, I mean, doing anything you could to get the money to do this and have an opportunity.
Absolutely. I was ready to go behind his back and just charge it to my account, and he wouldn't know.
You don't want her to do that. You don't want her,
Not at all.
You know, putting this on credit cards, selling stuff in the house. You go to sit down in a chair and fall on the floor.
If she wanted to, or if she had the ability to do so, we would sit on milk crates. Absolutely.
In order to have a baby.
Sure. Yeah. Absolutely.
What'd you think about the conversation I just had with this lovely couple down here?
It's definitely a reversal from what we are, in the aspect of, you know, they were deciding right from the start that they did not want to have children, mm-hmm. and right from the start we did, mm-hmm. and it's just impossible.
Is that all you got out of that conversation, was the differences between you and them?
No. You definitely have to want it. You know, both people have to be on board. Both parties do, and we are.
That he's not on board with me all the time, though. He's just, we fight about it every day.
Okay, so will Michelle be willing to wait out having a baby? We're going to talk about that when we come back.
Definitely a desperate situation. It makes me angry when he doesn't understand how hard it is for me to get pregnant, and he doesn't want to try.
I do understand Michelle's urgency to have a child. I do not understand the rationale to go into debt for it, though.
Well, we're talking about women that are desperate to become moms. Now, we're here with Michelle, who wants a baby right now. She doesn't want it tomorrow. She doesn't want it 9 months from now. She'd really like to have it right now. But the clock is ticking, and so she feels a sense of urgency to do everything she can now to try to maximize this. Now, her husband, Eric, says he's just not willing to spend any more money on fertility treatments because there's just no guarantee of a baby. So at least if you invest in a thing, you get the thing. Here you're investing and you may not get the thing. And that's just the logic of it. You say we're pouring money down a hole and we don't know whether we're getting back or not.
Absolutely.
But do you understand that you're not investing in a thing? You're not even investing in the process that might bring you the thing. You're investing in your relationship. You're investing in your family. You're investing in your future. You know, she didn't want to have the problem that she has. She didn't want to have this polycystic ovarian problem. She didn't want to have that. She didn't choose that. And she doesn't have that. This couple has that. And there are some things you can and need to do, and I want to help you with that. For every thought you have, there's a physiological correlate. Right now, you are stressed, you are angry, you are biochemically, physiologically setting yourself up in the least fertile state you could possibly get.
Right.
So we've got to do everything we can to calm you down, whether it's a natural fertilization or some other type of fertilization. You're putting yourself in a bad frame of mind for getting pregnant.
I cringe when I hear that because with my condition, you might only ovulate, I might only ovulate 2 to 3 times a year,
right.
And which makes it really impossible to try to get pregnant. So I can relax till all I want, and it's not going to help me. You know, I need to continue with the medications in order to get.
I'm not saying you don't, but don't just poo-poo. You cringe every time you hear that because you don't want to hear it. It nevertheless is the fact. What are you thinking about what I'm saying here? When I say you're not investing in an inexact science, you're not investing in a low probability process, you're investing in your relationship and your future.
I understand that investing in or paying for the procedures would definitely help our relationship. It would create a stronger bond than what we have. But I just have a hard time understanding the point in going into debt. I understand you can never afford a baby. You know, you're never financially sound to have a baby and things like that. But just for a very short.
And see, I understand the male logic here. I really do. Right. But what are you going to do if you have a baby and it has a problem, say at 2 years of age, and they say, well, we think we can fix this. You know, the procedure's $20,000, but I don't know. You know, it might cure him and it might not. What are you going to do? Say, well, I'm not pouring money down that hole.
At that point, we're living on milk crates.
But absolutely. I mean, you wouldn't deny the opportunity to try to fix the problem then, would you?
Correct. No.
Well, you're just trying to fix the problem now. And you might have to fix it then, too. I mean, that's just part of the deal. Because you don't want to spend that money on a house that she resents every time she walks in. It's okay, yeah, we got a house. Fine. This would have been the nursery. Ass.
And I don't want that. I understand.
I mean, you get that, right?
Oh, I got that.
Yeah. How am I doing?
Doing good. Like it.
I mean, really, this is what you're saying. I ask you if you would invest in your child's treatment if he or she became sick, and of course you would. Yes. You said I'd do whatever. I'd be living on milk crates if I had to.
Absolutely.
You'd do whatever. Well, your wife has a problem now. And she's asking you to invest in that.
I guess we'll have to talk about this some more.
I guess we will. Think about it. I mean, really. All right. Now, coming up, we're going to talk to a good friend of our show, a good friend of mine. You've all seen him. You all know him. Fitness expert Robert Reams and his wife are here to share their struggle to have another baby. We'll be right back.
My wife, Armene, and I have been trying to have a second child.
We've tried just about everything to try and get pregnant in the last 5 years.
Our chances were not great for using Armene's own eggs.
This will be our last attempt at in vitro fertilization.
today we're talking to couples. We're talking to women in particular who want nothing more than to get pregnant. Their husbands, some who are okay with it, some who are not. One of our next guests is someone that's very familiar to many of you out there. I call him a pain merchant. He calls himself a workout expert, but actually he just delivers pain to me. I've been working with Robert Reams for years on this show and at home in my gym. He's been helping men and women struggling with various weight loss issues. Now, recently, Robert and his wife, Armene, have been dealing with a very painful struggle of their own, really for the last 5 years, the problem of infertility. Take a look. Robert Reams is a nutrition expert. Robert, come up here for a minute.
I am the trainer for the Dr. Phil Show.
25.
Over the years, I've had the opportunity to help people with some of their struggles. Well, today I'm going to share a story of my family. My wife, Armene, and I have been trying to have a second child.
We've tried just about everything to try and get pregnant in the last 5 years. I am in my mid-40s, and I definitely would like to have a brother or sister for Audrey.
We've done a number of IVF cycles. They've not been successful.
It was very painful to hear about other women who were getting pregnant in their mid-40s. The first time I tried in vitro fertilization, I was angry. I thought, why do I have to go through this? I hated giving myself the shots.
The first time that we tried IVF, it didn't work.
The second time, we had great results. We had 7 embryos. We put all 7 back in because of my age. None of them took. The third time, we did not get great results. Then I got pregnant naturally. That did not result in a live birth either. This is the 5th one.
Well, we put him inside the uterus.
Dr. Paulson laid it out for us. Our chances were not great for using Armene's own eggs.
The specialist told me that my eggs were too old. The process of finding donor eggs is a very difficult one.
We were trying to find the right donor at the right price. They would go from $5,000 to $25,000.
Focusing on having a second child has been all-consuming. This will be our last attempt at in vitro fertilization. If I find out that we don't have any more embryos, I will be devastated. I will be relieved. I will try to move on. Somehow I can maybe forgive myself for having one great child, and this is our family, and it's okay.
This has been tough, right? I mean, not only just physically, the procedures that you go through, but it's tough not knowing and wondering and waiting. And I mean, how has that affected you?
Each time kind of like a roller coaster. You know, you do the procedure, you're hopeful, and you start to think about the possibility, and then you don't get the news you want. So.
And part of this is hormonal therapy?
Yeah.
Does that affect her moods and
yes.
all?
Yes, it does.
Just a little. Just
Yeah.
a little.
Just a little.
How did you cross the threshold that Eric is at now? I mean, because you had to make a decision, because this, a lot of money went places that went to this that would have gone other places.
Absolutely.
Right?
And,
Sure.
you know, watching both couples, I've learned a lot and just kind of seen a lot of our journey in their situation. But the financial thing was like, you know, I'm in a position in my life where I think I can get the money back. But what I can't get back is these times when we're still young enough to raise a kid.
You're in your 40s now, and you know you're going to do it now or it's not going to happen.
This
Right.
is it. This is
I
it.
want to see, we have to seize the opportunity because it's here and we can do it. So in my mind, because it's important to both of us, I'm going to pull out all the stops that I can.
Well, a few days ago, Robert and Armene had their last donor eggs thawed to determine if they were healthy for another attempt at in vitro fertilization. Next, our cameras are there when they receive a phone call that is either going to be a stark reality or possibly a life-changing event. We'll be right back.
So today we are waiting for a phone call from our doctor to let us know the status of the embryos, if they have indeed survived the thaw, and if they're suitable for transfer.
If it doesn't work this time, this is the end of the road.
Robert and his wife, Armene, have tried in vitro fertilization now a number of times. Now, before their last attempt, Armene's doctor told her that at age 47, she just frankly was too old to use her own eggs, so they decided on donor eggs. Now, days ago, they began their 7th and final attempt at an in vitro fertilization.
Today, we're waiting for the call from the doctor to give us the status of these 7 embryos and where we go from here. Hey, Dr. Paulson, how you doing? Good, good. You mind if I put you on speaker? Okay, 1 second.
Okay, what do we got?
So I want to give you the update.
Okay.
So we went ahead and we thawed 3 embryos, and all of them survived. And then we'll look at them again tomorrow, and we'll put them in.
All right, it's good news.
Excellent.
All right, thanks for your call.
Thanks, Dr. Paulson.
Bye.
I'm excited.
We'll see. I hope they're okay. I hope they keep dividing. I hope they're good little embryos.
Here we go again.
Here we go again.
Here's a picture of your babies. So one of them looks like an 8 cell, and one is 4, and one is 5, or at least that's where they were last time they looked at them under the microscope, because then they put them away again. You doing okay, Armene?
Yeah.
No cramping?
No.
Then here we go.
Robert has been extremely supportive throughout this entire process, and he's been there for me every inch of the way.
See this bright white spot?
Yeah.
That's where they are now.
So the transfer went perfectly now.
Yeah.
Most important instruction is be sure to become pregnant, okay?
Absolutely.
Your mouth to God's ears.
Well, Robert and Armene will find out in a week whether or not they are pregnant. So it'll be very soon, right? You can follow their story on our website at drphil.com. Now, we're going to host video updates there. So all you have to do is log on, and that, of course, takes you to our homepage. There it is. Now, we just redesigned the website, and it has all kinds of features. So click on the Today's Show page. It's called Desperate to Be a Mom. Once you're there, click on Robert and Armene's update. Actually, we've already got a message up, so let's take a look.
Armene and Rob, hi, it's Dr. Paulson. Since I was the last to hold your embryos in my hands, it seems only fitting that I should be the first to wish you all the best toward a successful outcome of this treatment cycle.
So we're going to track you guys on the website, okay? We want to know what's happening each step of the way so we can follow you along. And we wish you guys the absolute best.
Thank you so much.
We'll be right back. Okay, so Tanya and Keith, what do you do here? What's the next step?
You opened my eyes to something. I hadn't heard it put quite that way. When you said you can make this something that, will make her happy. And I mean, yes, I knew it would make her happy, but it was just the way that you put it. And that really hit home for me. It really did. So I'm going to look into some options and check into a few things.
I also understand what you're saying about you have such a wonderful life, and we were surprised when Robin was pregnant the first time with Jay, or at least I was. I
wasn't that surprised.
I don't think she was surprised, but no, we were surprised about that. And my thought at the time, selfishly, not having a great yearning for children was, I married a young, vibrant, sexy, energetic, fun girl. I don't want to be married to somebody other than that. And now we're going to bring a kid in here and all that sort of stuff. And we just resolved to continue to be who we were as a couple. And we were married 31 years last week. We've had an absolute ball every step of the way. I mean, we waited for the terrible twos, they never came. We waited for the rebellious teen years, they never came. I waited for them to move out, and they did. So, it's a good thing. What's your thinking, Eric?
I definitely understand that I need to maybe understand her point and try to do my best to meet her at least halfway in this.
You know, and maybe what you have to do is sit down and negotiate some type of budget for this. I mean, that you work out together and you decide how the sacrifices are going to be made. And like you said, you don't just bankrupt yourselves forevermore, but you at least make a commitment and say, you know, we're going to go this far, and we'll see where we are at that point. It's not just like there's no end to this. But, you know, it's like Robert said, he crossed the threshold of saying, I'm going to do everything I can while I can. Because that house is a pile of bricks. Those cars are a bunch of sheet metal. And this is your life. And let me tell you, life is brief and time is a thief. And it goes so quick. Thanks for being here today. drphil.com will have all you want to know about this. So long.
Today on Dr. Phil.
My son has the most debilitating OCD.
I only eat the egg whites.
What if a fleck of yolk were to get into the egg white?
Out of control, out of control. I don't even like thinking about it.
My body counts how many times I blink, so I don't really blink.
You spend 13 hours a day on ritualistic behavior.
I'm spinning. I'm just going and going and going.
It feels like there's a pinata in my brain, and you break it. Everything comes out.
Let's do it. Why don't we stop all the drama, stop all the fighting, and let's go get you better.
Here we go. Have a good show, everybody.
If I can help get this family back on track, are you willing to do that?
Pretty great. Take.
This is going to be a changing day in your life.
Go, Dr. Phil.
Thank you very much. All right, here's a question for you. What did you do this morning when you woke up? Do you have a routine? You get up, make coffee, take a shower, read the paper, get dressed, head out the door. But some people are imprisoned by rituals. And today my guests say that these simple daily routines that we all do are making their lives a hell. Now, my first guest, Jennifer, says that she has been suffering from obsessive-compulsive disorder, or OCD, for over 20 years. What we want to do today is take an intelligent look at this serious situation and have a conversation about it. Now, take a look at a basic task of cracking an egg.
I'm allowed to have 4 eggs every day, but I only eat the egg whites. So in my head, I usually count my eggs because I want to make sure that I don't eat more than 4. So I see that there's 3 there and 1 in my hand. So I'm good. And I always look at the yolk to make sure that some didn't get in the bowl. And of course, when you know it, the yolk broke. So. Anyways, I'm not going through this whole process. I'm not even having my eggs tonight because I'm not hungry anymore. I'm not doing this. Can you move, please? I'll just maybe cook them a different way. I'll boil them or something. I'm pissed off. I'm pissed off. It's just, it takes too much time to do this because of stupid yolk. I shouldn't be standing here. I should be watching TV or getting ready to go to bed. Or doing something that I want to straighten up. Everything is all over the place. My floors are a mess, and I just feel like everything's a mess.
Well, it sometimes takes Jennifer up to 5 hours just to get out of the house. and that's to just go to the gym. Now, Jennifer takes us inside the world of OCD, starting when she woke up at 3:30 in the afternoon. Take a look.
Right now, it is a little bit after 3:30 in the afternoon. Just getting up now to start my day. Last night was horrible. I only fell asleep about 7 o'clock this morning. I want to get up, tidy around, make my bed, start the laundry, clean the litter box. I'm just lint brushing some of Zoe's favorite spots. I like to do this just to keep the fur off my furniture. Usually on Tuesdays and Thursdays, I give everything in my kitchen, the surface areas, I just wipe them off, clean them down. So I just kind of backtrack in my head. I've done that, I've done that, I've done that, I've done that, okay. Every Thursday, I usually do the lint brushing, but I stand here for a minute and kind of replay it in my head because it doesn't feel like it's done. I just gotta think for a minute to see if I did it.
You really don't know?
No, I know that I did it, but it doesn't feel like I did, and I want to do it again. But if I remember something from doing it, then that's kind of my proof that I did it. I remember doing it because I told you something about Zoe. I do her favorite spots. So that's done. So it's kind of like a check mark in my brain. Okay, that's done. So now I have to fix this tape so that it's at the right spots, that I know that it did tape. There. And I have to say this in this order, my last 4 check marks of the day. I went down to check the mail, there was nothing. I found the spot, it was Chad and Melanie, so days did tape. I have that, this is for my protein drink after. I'm allowed to have that today because it's Thursday, and then I open up the fridge and I see my orange. And that's something that I'm allowed to have today too.
Who's allowing or not allowing you to have things?
Me? I believe that I have issues with food. I'm gonna start measuring some cereal to eat. So sometimes I just double check on the side of the box, a half a cup, and this says a half a cup. Sometimes I have to stare a little bit because I want to make sure that I'm not making a mistake with the measuring cup. And I see that it says a half a cup and this is a half a cup. So I just make sure that they're all lying flat as much as I can. Oh, this doesn't feel right. I need to start again. Now what I'm going to do is pour some milk for dinner later. I like to make sure that I have a little bit less than a half a cup. And I usually hold it up at eye's length to make sure, and then I gotta pour some out. But what I do to make sure that it's not above the half is I usually put it on the top shelf in my fridge, and then I just have to stare at it for a few minutes. So I can see that it's a little bit less. Just measure. This weighs 0.8, but I just want to make sure. So I usually just weigh it a couple of times. It says 0.8. 0.8. I usually don't like any of my food to weigh more than 7.6. So I know that this has to weigh 8.4. Some of this is going to have to go in the garbage. I like it filled right to the top. I'm usually always repeating the number of water glasses I have in my head so that I don't lose track. The last thing I do before I head out is I just recheck my freezer, make sure everything is in order. And I look in here, and I look in the garbage to make sure I see my cashew wrapper, so I know that that's what I ate and that's the only thing that I had. Right now I'm just thinking I had a glass before I had my cashew bar and I had a glass after my cashew bar. So I've had 2 glasses, I took my vitamins, so I'm good to go.
Well, it took Jennifer 5 hours to get out of the house that day, so what you saw was a condensed version of that. Let's take a look at what happens on her way to the gym.
I feel like a robot most of the time. I feel like everything I do is dictated by the OCD. Everything is scheduled and rigid and regimented. And the moment I step out of those boundaries, then I feel out of control. But it doesn't make any sense because the OCD is the thing that's out of control. I sometimes say that I would rather be in heaven. And here in this world, I just feel like I'm just trying to keep my head above water. So I think that's really why I sleep a lot. I try to imagine my life without OCD, but it just seems so completely foreign. I don't want to live with OCD, but I don't know if I know how to live without it. What would I do with my time? That would be scary a little bit to think that I have all this free time, and what would I do? I'm just lost. I don't know who I am.
Well, Jennifer's best friend Howard says he is so desperate to get her help that he is willing to do anything, even if it means taking her out of her comfort zone. Take a look.
When I first met Jennifer, her OCD was nowhere as drastic or as bad as it is now. Jennifer's OCD right now is at an extreme. I try to be there for Jennifer in as many ways possible. As far as emotional reassurance, I'm there for her financially. I help her with her bills, possibly from $800 to $1,000 a month. The trip to LA for the show, there will be a lot of planning to try and make sure everything goes smoothly. Whenever we travel and there's a hotel involved, I usually have aluminum foil and tape packed to cover up the windows and make sure that no sunlight can get through. She has to sleep pretty much in total darkness. I'll be getting information from the hotel ahead of time as far as where there's a grocery store, checking with them to make sure that there's a refrigerator in the room for her so that she can keep whatever food and things that she needs. I'll also be checking with the hotel just to verify that there is a gym that she'll have access to with the right equipment. I think the world of Jennifer. Nobody should have to go through the hell that she goes through on a daily basis. I just couldn't live with myself if I turned my back on her. If Jennifer doesn't get help, my greatest fear is that she's going to give up hope, that she will finally just feel that there's nothing worth living for.
Well, next, we're going to meet Jennifer, and she comes clean about the lies she says she's telling to the ones that she loves. And later, we're going to meet a mother and father who say they feel like prisoners in their own home because of their son's OCD. How is this going so far since you came out here and you and I sat down and talked?
I kind of just want it over with. It's just, it's really hard. I feel trapped. I feel like I have been in prison since I was probably about 14 years old. Like I'm in prison in my own head. It just feels like I'm in this tangled circle with the OCD and the food issues and then this constant sleep anxiety. I don't know what's going to happen to me. I feel like I'm constantly aggravating people or disappointing them because of the way that I am, and I just wish I could be normal.
Well, that was Jennifer, and she's been living with her OCD for over 20 years. Now, her best friend Howard says that her life is so exhausting for her that there's just no way that she can keep this up, and he desperately wants to get her some help. So thank you for reaching out. How do you feel about being here today, and how are you feeling right now?
Just a little bit embarrassed. It's just hard to show that side of my life. I'm scared.
How much do you tell your mother about all of this, and what does she not know about your rituals?
I think she thinks that I'm a little bit further along in beating them or not doing things to the extent that I do. I just want to protect her a little bit. I don't really want her to know the full scope and the full depth of what I go through.
Help me understand your internal dialogue. You took an hour trying to break 4 eggs exactly the way you want them broken, which meant no yolk included at all in what you were draining off, the whites, right? What is your fear if a fleck of yolk were to get into the egg white?
Out of control. Out of control. I don't even like thinking about it.
We did some calculation, and it appears that you spend 13 hours and 25 minutes a day on ritualistic behavior. Now, if we took that all away, you eliminated it all from your life, say 13 hours of it, 25 minutes to actually do the things maybe, what would you think about that 13 hours of free time? Is that overwhelming?
I think it would be fabulous, but I don't know if I know how to live in that. I don't want to live with the OCD at all. Nobody wants it gone more than I do, but I don't know how to live without it.
So your OCD is like a not very good old friend.
I think so.
It's not a good friend, but it's an old friend. You don't like certain things about it,
I hate everything about it.
It's the evil you know.
It's all I know.
You had to breach a lot of your rituals to come here.
Yeah.
I mean, how hard was it to get on that plane? How hard was it to be here right now?
It's hard right now. It's still, I'm going, in my head constantly I'm doing checklists, like what day of the week it is, what does that mean for home. I had to write out things before I got on the plane. Okay, this day I'm not going to be home, so let's get this done now. I get very overwhelmed, so everything that I had to do if I was home was pretty much done ahead of time or is going to be done when I get back. When I get back home off the plane, I'm going to be exhausted and tired, but I want things done, and if I have to stay up all night doing it, I'll do it. Everything, I feel completely out of control because my food isn't exactly the same. I'm just, it's making me crazy.
Yeah. How is this going so far since you came out here and you and I sat down and talked?
It's good, but I kind of just want it over with because I got to hurry up and get back to the hotel and do 2 workouts and, you know, try and get something to eat and wondering what I'm going to take tonight to go to sleep. And I'm wanting it done and over with, but I want help. But I'm thinking about everything that I have to do when I get back to the hotel. I'm spinning. I sound like I'm on crack. I'm just going and going and going and going in my head.
Well, we're going to take a break, not a very long one, and then we'll be right back. So the question is, does Jennifer want help, and what would she do if all of this time came back into her life? We'll see what she has to say about that when we come back. What's going to happen in your life? Where are you going to be 5 years from now?
I think I'm just a stroke/heart attack waiting to happen.
Well, 2.2 million people in the U.S. suffer from obsessive compulsive disorder, and you always hear about it as OCD. And we're talking about repetitive thoughts and actions that can cause a really disruption to your life. It's anxiety-based, and it can cause people to feel really trapped in their own mind. Those around them don't know how to deal with it. In this case, Jennifer says she was bullied as a child because of the odd behavior, and she's here with her best friend Howard, and we're talking about what to do. Now, when people use OCD kind of as slang sometimes and don't even really know what it means, but what we're talking about is obsessive thoughts and compulsive behavior. So there's 2 components to it, the obsessive thought. Do you have an obsessive thought pattern that stays with you a lot? Do you have things that are like chants or mantras that you have to repeat on a regular basis?
Do you mean mental compulsions?
Yes.
Yeah.
Give me an example.
You want me to say what I...
Sure.
They're all 7s, they're all less than 8. I can weigh them again next week. This month I had to get weighed and get my gym program done and get my renewal done. My renewal's done and good for 6 months. My gym program was done. I don't have to do that this month. I already got weighed this month, so next month all I have to do is get weighed. My highlights were done, so I can do that in a couple months. I don't have to worry about it. And then I go through a checklist of...
Okay, if you said that again, would you say it exactly the same way?
Probably.
Say it again.
They're all 7s, they're all less than 8. I can weigh them again next week. This month I got weighed and I got my... It's different because I feel kind of nervous because the cameras, but I go through a checklist of my gym program, my gym renewal, my highlights done, what was done this month. I already got weighed, I got my program done, I got my hair done, This month, all I have to do coming up is get weighed.
Okay, and as you're saying that, do you feel a lessening of anxiety? For you, it's kind of like taking a deep breath.
Yeah, and I always repeat the number of water glasses in my head. There's a lot of scenarios that I replay in my head.
What's going to happen in your life? Where are you going to be 5 years from now, 10 years from now? What's going to happen?
I don't know, hopefully dead. I don't know. I think I'm just a stroke/heart attack waiting to happen. I'm just a ball of stress. I hate my life.
This is Dr. Frank Lawless right here. You've probably seen Frank on the show.
So much about you, and I have your book.
Yeah, and Dr. Lawless is the chairman of our advisory board. And I asked him to come today because I wanted you to have a chance to meet him and sit and talk with him, because I think Dr. Lawless has some thoughts and resources that he would like to start adding to the repertoire of things you use to control this, because right now you're so deep into it that it may not seem apparent to you, but it is apparent to me that you can control this. I mean, I believe that to the core of my soul. And Dr. Lawless has written a book called Retraining the Brain, which is a really critical element of OCD. And Dr. Lawless, you think you have some things to offer her, right?
Absolutely.
I want to do this with you, not to you. So I just want to make it available to you, and if you want to do it, it's our gift to you. When we return, we're going to meet a mother and father who say their son's OCD is so severe that they're afraid to even leave him alone. Now, he's 25, and he's not living on his own like Jennifer is, so we're going to talk about that, and then some methodology, some things that can really turn this around. We'll be right back.
My son Michael has the most debilitating OCD.
I'll get sweaty, I'll cry, I'll hit myself. Michael!
People tell me the only thing you could do is have him committed.
I'm not giving up on this kid. I love him too much.
Imagine putting your healthy, happy, and normal 13-year-old son to bed one night only to wake up the next morning and find out he is not the same that he was the day before. Now, that's what happened to my next guest, Pam and Jack. Life as they knew it changed forever when their son was diagnosed with OCD. Now, at 25, Michael still lives at home, and they say his disease is so extreme that they're really afraid to even be alone with him. Take a look.
My son Michael has the most debilitating OCD.
Michael! My OCD is not your usual type of OCD, which is hand washing, cleaning 30 times a day. Mine's all what you call sensory OCD.
Come on, body, work!
Everything on my body is all about perfectionism. When something doesn't feel right, what my body says is three things. Did I hear it right? Did it seem right? And did it feel right? When I swallow, I gotta make sure it's perfect. If you swallow, there's noises that your body makes. Now, I do it really fast, so it doesn't make any noises. The longest time it took me to do that was 255 different swallows. I don't really blink. My body counts how many times I blink, and I just basically train my body. If I can't blink, I can't blink. So I just kind of like go with that kind of halfway blink. The perfect cough is basically what it is it's 3 times. And have to be the same pitch. The third one's got to be a high-pitched cough. I started having OCD tendencies when I was 13 years old.
When he was around 13, my husband and I were sleeping, and Michael walks into our room screaming. And I said, Mike, what's wrong? And he says, I can't dress myself. He couldn't put one sock on. He was fine the day before. Hi, is the doctor in?
Pam and I were on the internet 24/7 trying to find help.
We've tried everything. We went to a hypnotist. We did acupuncture.
We've even tried a light treatment. Our latest one was horse therapy. I had some friends say that, Jack, the only thing you could do is have him committed. I said, that ain't gonna happen.
I'm not giving up on this kid. I love him too much. And that's one of the reasons that I called in, because there's no way I was going to give up on him. I love him. And he loves him just as much, but he can't stand seeing him go through it.
He's not just my son, he's my buddy. We got a good relationship. It's heart-wrenching.
Michael!
You were very animated at the end of that piece, for example. You were yelling, actually screaming, and kind of fighting within yourself. What do you think when you see that?
It feels like there's a pinata in my brain. When you have a pinata and you break it, everything comes out. And after I just saw that, I'm like, Mom, Dad, you had to watch that 24 hours a day, 7 days a week to go through their son that they loved so much, to go through that every single day. And no one knows what the real answer is. My OCD is all different. It just is hurt, it's pain, it's guilt. It's like, holy cow.
And it's hard for you guys to watch this, right?
It's very hard, but we live with it 24/7.
Mm-hmm. You say that there are times that you're actually afraid of him. Not that he would want to do something, but you're afraid of him. What is it you're afraid of?
Well, he was on some medication, and it caused him to be very angry, and he became, it was like living with a monster. My son, who is the most giving, loving person anybody could ever meet, had turned into a monster.
Michael says that his OCD does cause him from time to time to go into a trance state. Take a look.
When I was about 9 years old or 10 years old, that's when trances started to hit. When a trance comes on, I can't feel it. They just hit me like lightning. What a trance looks like is my body, I call it out of commission. I can't do anything, and it could take a matter of hours. And the longer it takes, the more scared I get. The longest trance I've been in was 21 hours. When I'm in a trance, I always count in numerical order, but I wait for the odd numbers. I'm aware of everything around me. I can hear everything. I can see everything. My body gets very, very sticky.
When he goes into a trance, he needs dead silence in the house. If I want to talk on the phone, I'd have to sneak outside in my backyard and talk really softly because his hearing is different than everybody else's. One day he was screaming because he heard a leaf drop. I've told everybody, please, just don't call the house. I said, if you call and he's in a trance, he has to start all over.
Trances are very, very hard to be in. It felt right. My brain's like a nice big fluffy pillow. When it doesn't get accepted, it feels like someone put a knife in my brain. It feels very sharp. It's very, very painful.
He's had these trances throughout his life, but for the last 9 months, it's the worst I've ever seen it. I've got holes in every wall.
I'll get sweaty, I'll cry, I'll hit myself. Michael!
As a parent, you just want to die, you know, because you feel helpless. You know, nobody has any answers for you.
People and friends have said, well, he's doing it for attention. But we know for a fact it's not attention. There's something in his brain that is triggering this. What is it? It's the million-dollar question. We don't know.
Well, Jack, just father to father, what's it do to you to see your boy going through this?
It tears you apart. I mean, you know, last month I had to put my mom to rest. She passed away. And Michael came to me and said, you know, Dad, you don't know how jealous I am of Grandma. I wish that was me. And it's tough.
We're going to take a quick break. Coming up, Pam blames herself for Michael's OCD. We're going to find out why when we return. And we're getting ready to talk about some very inspirational work that's being done with OCD. We'll be right back.
I blame myself all the time. When I was pregnant of him, I went into the hospital. They put me on morphine for just a day. They said, don't worry about it. Nothing's going to happen to the baby. And then as soon as this all happened, then I said, oh my God, what did I do to him? It had to be me.
I'm here with Jack and Pam and their 25-year-old son, Michael, who was diagnosed with OCD when he was 13. Now, Pam says that after years of failed treatments and medication, that she finds it easier to blame herself for Michael's OCD since doctors haven't given a good answer to how this happened. How do you figure you own this?
Well, I was 7 months pregnant with Mike, and I had a kidney stone, and I ended up in the hospital. And they said, you need to be on morphine. Well, when I'm pregnant with both my kids, I do everything I'm supposed to. But I didn't with him, because they told me, you have to be on morphine. And my husband, you know, he was like, it'll be okay. They say it's okay. It's not going to hurt the baby. So now I figured that medicine, it's my fault. You know, it wasn't for my kidney stone and this doctor. You know, maybe this wouldn't have happened to Mike.
Yeah. Well, I'm not sure if this is good news or bad news for you, because I know you try to find a place to put this, but there's just not any scientific connection between the appropriate use of that drug during a pregnancy and OCD. I mean, there's some indication that there could be some genetic component to it in some way. There's some association with those that have had a streptococcus infection, you know, severe strep.
He's never had that.
But, I mean, really, there's not a whole lot known about cause, at least definitively. We were talking before to Jennifer, and one of the things that I said is we do understand that there is a neurological component to this. There are some things going on in the brain that are very different from someone's brain that's not experiencing this. And if that's not addressed, if that's not corrected, the best possible therapies, the things that would otherwise be effective, just won't be. So coming up, we're going to talk about what's really going on inside Michael's brain, inside the brains of people that are experiencing OCD. We've sent Michael to be evaluated before today so we could have a look at his brain to find out if it was different than someone's brain that's not going through this. The results are very, very interesting. We're going to show them to you right after the break.
I reached out when my doctor finally said, I give up. I don't know what to do for you anymore. And I'm like, oh my gosh, you're giving up on us? My biggest fear is who's going to take care of Michael?
We're a very small family. If my daughter can't take care of him and he can't take care of himself, where's he going to go? He doesn't belong in a halfway house. He deserves a normal life. I'll take care of him as long as I can.
We don't know what to do. We just need help.
Well, today we're taking a glimpse inside the world of OCD. Now, with regard to Michael, who we've been talking about, we sent Michael to see Dr. Bradley Jabbour, a leading neuroradiologist and CEO and founder of Smart Brain and Health. Now, his research is so on the cutting edge of neurovascular head and neck imaging that I can't even tell you. I have been there. Dr. Jabbour performed a brain scan on Michael to find out what's really going on. So, Dr. Jabbour, thank you for being here. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
You did some imaging on Michael. Will you take us through that here and show us what we found out?
Yeah, I'd love to do that. Thanks, Dr. Phil. As we can see, this is Michael. Pretty good rendering of Michael. We cut into the brain, and we were able to image the structure, the anatomy, the shape of the brain. We're also able to see that Michael has a normal-looking brain.
What we're seeing here, when you say the fiber tracts, this is the wiring inside the brain.
Correct.
This is how different parts of the brain talk to other parts of the brain, which are important in doing complex functions, right?
Yeah, that's right. The brain networks, the networks that connect with each other.
And so these are actually the fibers in Michael's brain.
Correct.
This is an area in the frontal part of the brain. It's a cingulate gyrus, but this is the area in the frontal part of the brain. Now, this is a brain that is not experiencing OCD, and it looks like the area of activity here, the area that's hot, is 300, 400, 500% of what it is in this brain.
Correct.
Okay, so this is going on with an OCD patient. This is going on with someone that is not experiencing OCD. We call it normal, but it just means non-OCD. And there's also some activity back here that is not back here.
Correct.
So what's up with that?
Okay. In Michael's case, and this is not true of all OCD patients, but in Michael's case, this area, which is one of the switching areas that process information, is not behaving correctly. It's not as active as it should be. So his sense of where he is and who he is in space and time sometimes might be affected in a way that's not like the normal population.
Is it possible to get this back to its normal level of activity and to wake up this part of the brain as well? And the answer to that is yes.
Yes.
And you're doing this with... and here's the thing. You have developed technology here that uses the MRI to do neurological navigation, which allows you to pinpoint this precise area of the brain and then essentially bombard it with magnetic impulses that cause the areas to change their activity level. True?
Correct. Yep.
And without using medication. Because you guys are saying the medication, sometimes the side effects are worse than what they treat, or they make it worse, or they just simply do nothing.
Exactly.
They've always
but
worked
you're
the
able
opposite.
to do this without medication, correct?
Correct.
All right, now, Dr. Jabbour brought along one of his patients, Bob, who was suffering from OCD and had suicidal thoughts for years. Welcome, Bob. Thank you for being here, Bob. So, you've heard us talking with Jennifer and Michael about this OCD. Yours was as severe as we're talking about today, correct?
Certainly. I am bipolar as well, and so the suicide was a major component, but I also had OCD that was interfering with my life as well.
I want to talk about the treatment and what this involves, because, and I think we've got some B-roll of this so we can see it. If we can, I'll kind of talk through it here, but basically what you do is you use neural navigation to find the specific area, because it's not the same for everybody, correct?
Well, the OCD is more or less in the same part of the frontal lobe, but we've got to find the specific entry point to stimulate the brain.
Right. And then you're basically put in what's called a stereotaxic setup, where your head is positioned so you don't move around. And then you'll see there's this area that goes right above the brain, right above the head right here, is not actually touching, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, and then impulses are going in, magnetic impulses, right?
Correct.
And the patient will sit there for how long?
30 minutes.
30
minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you go through a series of these treatments, and you're targeting this brain. So basically, those magnetic impulses are hitting right into the gyrus where this is taking place.
Correct. Before we treated Bob, what his brain looked like, and just like Michael, while he was trapped in those thoughts of depression and suicidal type rituals, his life fell apart, and we could see why he too was suffering. We then treated him, and that whole area returned to normal, and the green represents what the normal population, if you took 90% of the people here, this is what their brain would look like, the green. So we overlaid what the normal population is, and after treatment, he returned to normal.
They saved my life. I was the last train stop, and I had no place to turn to. It was a pure miracle.
Now, Dr. Jabbour and Smart Brain and Health want to give Michael treatment at their facilities here in Los Angeles. So they're offering to do this with you. Now, you have to be here for a period of time to do this, because this is day after day after day you have to do this. So we're going to make living arrangements for you while you're here, for you and your parents during your stay while we get this done for you. It's non-pharmaceutical, and really the scientific studies that you've done have had a really high remission rate for patients, true?
72% remission using the neuronavigation technique. So
72% remission.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. That's just great. We'll be right back. You know, I'd like to thank all of my guests for coming and sharing their stories today. Guys, I know it's easier to stay home and not put your story out there for everyone to see, but it makes a huge, huge difference. And I've always said there's a trade-off. The guests that come here are teaching tools for us. That's what we get out of it. what you get out of it is that we try to bring you the best resources that you could get anywhere in the world to help you turn things around. And I really hope you're going to throw yourself into this. You feel good about this?
Yes, I do.
Yeah?
You saved my whole entire life, I think.
Well, thank you. And Jennifer, you've had an opportunity to meet with Dr. Lawless, and you guys can chat. And if and when it feels right to you and you want to do it, as I said, Dr. Jabbour has been so kind to say he would be happy to do this with you, and we'll help you make those arrangements. Up to you.
Where do I
pressure.
sign?
And really, a special thanks to Dr. Bradley Jabbour. Brad, I just can't tell you how much I appreciate you doing this. I hope today's show wasn't too technical. We're going to have so much more information about OCD and depression and all of the things that go into living with anxiety on drphil.com. And also, one of the things that's so important for anxiety relief is being able to calm yourself. And so Dr. Lawless has innovated an anxiety relief audio program that is really, really helpful. And so everyone in the audience is going to get a link to get a free download of that. And after talking with Dr. Lawless today, he has allowed us to put it on our website, and every one of you at home are going to get a link for a free download of that program that helps you deal with anxiety in your life. So, Dr. Lawless, that is so generous. Thank you so much for doing that, and we'll be watching you guys and hoping things change. Bob, thanks for sharing your story with us. So long. Thanks, John. Appreciate it. Bob, good to see you so much. See you all.
Today on Dr. Phil.
How well did you know this babysitter?
I've never met her.
You turned your kids over to a woman you never met?
Moms in the news. One was charged with child endangerment.
You're questioning if I leave my kids so I can go drink.
Your daughter told the police that you do. So don't act like I'm crazy just pulling this out of the air.
The other, Nadia Suleiman, at home and in chaos.
I am a good mother.
My crew said this house was a wreck.
I am off going 300, 500 miles per hour nonstop.
People speculate that your energy was because you were on drugs.
Right now, if we weren't talking, I'd be cleaning, I'd be cooking, I'd be playing with them.
Have you ever taken drugs? Let's do it. If we're going to do something here that matters, then we got to deal with the truth.
Have a good show, everybody. Here we go.
If I can help get this family back on track, are you willing to do that?
Ready, free, take.
This is going to be a changing day in your life. Go, Dr. Phil. Hey, guys. Well, she has been dubbed one of the most controversial, one of the most hated, one of the worst parents in America. 3 years ago, Nadia Suleiman gave birth to octuplets, making her the mother of 14. Well, today she's back because there are even more reasons to ask her, what were you thinking? Now, that's also the question I have for my first guest, 28-year-old Alicia. She is the mother of 4 children, all under the age of 10. Now, she made the local news in her hometown, well, because she was arrested. Take a look.
On April 14th, an Izard County Sheriff's deputy arrested 27-year-old Alicia Donaldson for not being there for her children, ages 4, 6, and 10, when deputies found them home alone. Deputies say during a welfare check at the house where Donaldson left the children, the 10-year-old told them the woman often leaves them at home alone.
Well, here's what Alicia told us about why she said she left her kids home alone.
That morning, the babysitter pulled up, and I was in a really big hurry, so I didn't even wait for her to go in my house. I just waved and took off. I never introduced the babysitter to my kids. My 10-year-old has a phone, and I told her if she didn't like her, anything happened, to call me. I just left and went to work. The social service worker came and spoke to my 10-year-old, and she told the lady that she hated it here, I was mean,
I left them alone. I hit her. She came up with a lot of good stuff. The social worker came in and told me I need to pack their bags. And then the officer said, you're going to jail for 4 counts of child endangerment and your kids are going into foster care. They handcuffed me. I went to jail for 26 hours. I was released on Sunday, and Monday morning, the state dropped all charges. I was cleared of everything. I'm not a danger to my kids. I'm not an unfit mom. I think I'm a good mom.
Okay, Alicia, I'm glad you're here. Tell me what happened the day you were arrested.
I got ready for work, and at 8:45, the babysitter pulled up, and I waved at her. I was in a rush. I have 4 kids. I'm always rushed. So I left, and at noon, I get a call from the police department telling me to come home. I panicked, and I came home, and there's my kids standing in the yard in their pajamas, and a cop asking me where the babysitter was.
How well did you know this babysitter?
I've never met her. We come from a very small town. Everybody trusts everybody. She went to school with my younger sister. I figured if she trusted her, that I could trust her.
Are you telling me that you never even met the babysitter that you turned your children over to?
Right. She was...
You never even said, hi, I'm Alicia.
We talked on
come
the
here,
phone.
boo, nothing. You never met this
No,
woman.
we just talked on the phone, text messages, and Facebook.
But you never met her?
No.
And so you leave the house and there's somebody sitting in a car at the curb?
No, in my driveway.
In your driveway. And you don't speak to her? You don't say, here's who the kids are, here's what they need today, here's the this or that? No schedule, no agenda, no... You didn't meet her?
We went over that on the phone, but I didn't... it's not like here. We come from a very small town.
You can't get that small.
And
you turned your kids over to a woman you never met?
I trusted my sister's judgment.
Wow. Tell me what you hope to accomplish today.
I want to become a better person, and I came because I have relationship problems, and I seek some acceptance, and I need a better life for my kids.
What is it you don't like about who you are?
I have my home life with my kids, and I have a separate life when my kids are gone.
Right.
So it's two separate lives.
Well, let's take a look at that. Alicia says there is another side to her.
This is yours, this is yours. Okay, I'm gonna run the water and you brush your teeth. On a scale of 1 to 10, as a mom, I'm a 7, and as a party person, probably an 8. I'm a good mom when my kids are around. I am, it's so kicking. And then when I don't have my kids, I'm a different person. That Alicia goes out and bars, she drinks, she doesn't come home. That Alicia's pretty bad. She's pretty wild and she does stupid things. In the past year, I've slept with 11 people. The longest I've ever went without having someone in and out of my house or dating someone was probably a week. I use my body and sex to lure a guy in, and I think I can keep him with that. My 10-year-old now hates men. You can sense tension when a new guy comes into the household, so I ask my girls, what do you not like about him? You know, what can we make better? Don't you want your mom to be happy? I mean, I'm seeking stability, and I want them to know that I want a family life, a normal family life. I'll change who I am. I'll be who they want, just as long as someone will stay. I would like to ask Dr. Phil why I go to extreme lengths to have a man present in my life.
Okay, so you have 2 different personas, you say. Yes. Okay, one is a good mother, and the other is you're out partying, you say you use your body, you use sex to lure guys in.
I meet a guy not as a one-night stand. I meet a guy hoping he's going to provide, be my future. I want a family. I want a stable life.
Okay.
So.
Well, it seems to me those 2 overlap. You said your daughter hates it when you bring a guy home.
When I enter a new relationship, she hates it.
Mm-hmm. Do you bring these guys into the home? Do you allow them to meet your children? Now, listen, I'm trying to drill down with you, so help me here.
There's been a handful. It's not like 50 guys in a year.
It was 9.
And they met 2. I don't let them meet unless I know that they're going to stick around for a length of time, then my kids meet them.
I'm having trouble getting past you leaving your kids with a babysitter you never met. You, in fact, have left your children alone at home before, correct?
No.
Never have you left your children alone at home?
Never.
Not ever one time?
No. I have like 4 babysitters I have to rotate between because I don't have anybody else there. They are never alone. Mm-hmm. They're 4, 6, 8, and 10. I mean, there's no way.
And your 10-year-old daughter told the police that you have left them home alone on numerous occasions.
Right, and that's why I went to jail that day, because of what she said.
So she's lying.
She told the social worker, she said, I thought I was going to get to go to my dad's house. She said, it wasn't true, and the lady kept telling her, honey, it's okay. The charges there didn't stick. I mean, my community knows me, and on a Sunday, the sheriff, the judge, they came, got me out, the charges were gone, my kids were back in my custody Monday, no follow-up from DHS. I mean, I've never been, I mean, I'm a good parent. I mean, there's my, you know, the bad part of me, but when it comes to my kids, I'm always there.
You see, my premise in the beginning was you said you have one persona as a mother and another persona is kind of a party girl. I said I fear that they overlap some. And that's why I'm asking these questions, so I can figure out what's going on.
You're questioning if I leave my kids so I can go drink?
No, I don't know where you go. I don't know what you do, and I don't know if you leave your children alone.
Right.
I'm asking you, and I have a basis for asking you because your daughter told the police that you do.
Right.
So don't act like I'm crazy just pulling this out of the air, because I want to help you, and I'm very concerned about your kids and your future. Now, one of Alicia's friends says that he's worried about her safety and the safety of her children. We're going to add him to the conversation next, and then we'll see where we're going. You just said one word that was the most offensive to me of everything you've said since you got here. What do you suppose it was? And later, was it a mistake to try to have another child when you had 6 at home?
I was a hostess and a bartender in a country club. One night I woke up in the basement of the country club on a bed and was wearing black slacks and a bra. And I didn't know how I got there, what I did, don't recall anything that happened. The last thing I remember is sitting on a couch and drinking whiskey straight. My family came to scream, yell, ask me what I was doing. I'm a mom, took my phone. They left me my keys, my vehicle, and I found my own way home that day.
Well, that was Alicia. She got fired from that job at the country club. Now, her best friend Eric says that he's worried about her because not only is her drinking out of control, but her choices in men are, according to him, questionable.
I feel like I'm kind of standing back watching a train wreck about to happen.
It's just, this is who I am. I mean, this is not who I want to be, this is who I am. So, I don't know how to change it.
I wrote to Dr. Phil because I love Alicia, and her kids mean the world to me. Alicia's kids, unfortunately, have been subjected to a lot. They've seen their mom fight with boyfriends, and they've seen her drink. Recently, she was drunk, and she left the bar with a man who she didn't know, and she had sex with him in his truck. And then a couple weeks ago, Alicia went out with her sister and got drunk, and she got so upset that she broke her windshield with her bare foot.
I kicked in this right here with my foot, and I was hitting whoever was driving, and she couldn't maintain me, so I jumped out of the vehicle while we were going down the road.
Alicia has had many failed relationships. Her kids have been subjected to a string of short-term boyfriends, short-term relationships. The guy she just broke up with, she had dated him for roughly a week before she allowed him to move in with her and her children. I think Alicia and her kids both have been incredibly fortunate so far that she hasn't let a sexual predator move in. And it's only going to be a matter of time until something tragic happens to either her or her children.
Well, Eric, thanks for being here. You're here why?
Because I love my best friend. And I love and care about our kids. And I've seen the things that she does over the past years that we've known each other. It's like watching a train wreck happen in slow motion. And you can either watch it happen or you can step in and try to save somebody.
Do you share his concern? Do you think that you're headed for trouble?
Yeah, I mean, I make bad decisions, and it can, like you said, overlap. What I do is going to soon be in my home.
Yeah, well, let me tell you some things that you may not know. When you talk about abuse risk, what are the chances of your children being abused? We're talking about physical abuse, sexual abuse, whatever. It's 14 times higher than normal if they live with their bio mother alone. It's 20 times greater if they live with a bio father alone. It's 20 times higher if the bio parents are not married, but they're cohabiting. Mom and dad are both there, but they're not married, but they just cohabit, but they both bring other people into the home. And get this, The risk is 33 times higher if they're living with their bio mother and she has a man in the house living with her. 33 times greater. Now, you hit several of those categories at different spots, right? At different times. What do you think about what I'm saying to you?
That I need to be more responsible. I mean, I never thought of it that way. I never thought I was putting my kids at risk. I only thought about myself.
You're not putting them just at risk. You're putting them, if you got a boyfriend and he's staying with you, the chance of one of those children being abused in some way is 33 times normal. I'm sure you don't know those statistics, but your gut level's telling you this. Yeah. You say that she allows the kids to meet these men and in fact, sometimes pick who to date.
Sometimes.
You said you let the kids pick sometimes. You like him or not like him?
It's not pick, and I don't know how you get that. Whenever I date someone for a while, after they interact with my kids, I ask them, how do you feel about this person? Do you like them? You know, are you going to mesh well with them? And I want to know their opinion, because if I find someone, they're going to be in their life too. I want to make sure that it's not someone they hate and despise. I want them to like that person.
Okay, let me tell you how wrong that is. Now, what's the shortest time that you've moved somebody in with you after knowing them?
A week.
A week?
Mm-hmm.
How long did this guy that you'd known for a week that you moved in, how long did he stay?
A month.
A month, and why did he leave after a month?
He started pushing on me, so I asked him to leave.
Well, here's what we know. You moved a guy in that you'd known a week, and within a month, he was getting physical with you.
Right.
Okay? So can we agree that that is an incredibly bad decision?
Yes.
And can we agree that that would fit right in the dead center sweet spot of me saying that the chance of those kids getting abused is 33 times normal?
Or dead, yeah.
Exactly. So you are a walking, talking poster girl for the bad decisions of bringing men into your children's lives.
Yes.
You don't let these men meet your children. You don't use them to vet them or to clear them.
It's kind of hard to be a single mom of 4 kids and have a dating life. It's impossible. How am I ever going to meet someone without my kids around?
Slowly.
It's not going to happen.
Take it slower.
I don't have weekends alone.
I know,
I have my kids 24/7. So when a guy wants to meet me, they have to come watch a movie or something.
I realize that. Sorry.
Go ahead. No, you're doing fine.
What's more important?
My kids are, but I don't want to be alone for the rest of my life. It is hard to raise 4 kids.
Okay, hold on. You're doing great. Who are you? You just said one word that was the most offensive to me of everything you've said since you got here. What do you suppose it was?
I'm not sure.
But. You said, I know I'm responsible for my kids, but. And but means forget what I just said, because that's not what I really feel. So that sentence could have been, I know I'm responsible for my kids, but I don't really believe that. It isn't really my priority. I don't want to be alone the rest of my life. So forget all of that. What you really said to me was, I don't want to be alone the rest of my life, and I'm willing to put my kids at risk in order to ensure that that doesn't happen.
But I'm not willing to do that.
Based on results, you are.
I don't want to be alone.
You moved a guy in after a week. You moved a guy in after a week.
Yes, I did.
Any guy that would move in with you after a week, I'm guessing is not a pillar of the community. Yeah, I got to take a break. We have to take a break. We'll be right back.
I absolutely feel like Alicia grew up feeling like she wasn't good enough. She was taught from a very early age that if she looked pretty, that's all that mattered. Alicia's low self-worth and her really poor choices have had a really bad effect on her life. A couple of years ago, I got a call in the middle of the night from Alicia. I could tell she was drunk. She had been pulled over for a broken taillight, but the cops were aware that she was under the influence. She said that if I were to show up there, then they wouldn't place her under arrest. I don't know how she hasn't gotten a DUI yet.
Okay, that was Alicia's best friend, Eric. Now, earlier this year, Alicia was arrested for child endangerment when she allegedly left her 4 children home alone. Now, she says she didn't. She says she left them with a babysitter. What happened to this babysitter, by the way?
She denied everything. Did
she leave?
When the cops asked her, she said she wasn't even my babysitter. So it just all fell back on me.
You're dating losers. You know that, right?
Yes, I do.
You're moving losers into your house, right?
I know that.
And that's why I said, who do you think would move in with a woman and 4 kids after a week?
Someone who needs a mom and to take care of them.
Yeah, so now you got 5 to take care of,
Yeah.
and one of them's big enough to hurt you.
Yes.
And your children.
Yes.
So you've got to stop that. And listen, I'm sorry. I'm not the one that made the choice to have 4 children.
I'm happy I have 4
Okay,
children.
but you made that choice. So you
Yes.
can't say, well, but I've got 4 children. How am I ever going to? I need somebody at my side. I need somebody to help me. I'm overwhelmed. I'm a single mom with 4 children. I totally get that. But you made the choices to have these 4 children, and you've got to live with the consequence and the responsibility of mothering those 4 children. That means you make sacrifices along the way, then you make sacrifices along the way. But if what you want is to find a quality partner, somebody that you love and can love you and can respect your children and treat them with dignity and nurturance and protection, it's not going to be the Bum of the Month Club.
They have to have potential. I mean, they have to have a job and they have to want the family life. They can't just be...
Okay, and you learned
living with their
all of that
parents.
about this guy you moved in after a week. You learned that he had potential, wanted a family life, all of those things. You discerned all of that in a week.
Kind of got it, but bad judgment call and it ended up going south.
You were a booty call.
Thanks.
You know it's true. Come on. You say thanks like that is a revelation. That should not be a revelation to you. Somebody that wants to have a relationship with you will get to know you. They will let you get to know them. They will respect that you are a mother. They won't keep you out till 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning drinking and partying, knowing that you have 4 children at home. They will do things that have they're congruent with your life. Otherwise, you're just somebody they met in a bar that they want to sleep with. Is there any other way to say it?
No.
So what if you chose to take a completely different tact and said, you know, they're going to have to get to know me. They're going to have to be transparent with me. And you say, well, hey, listen, if that's true, as soon as they see 4 kids and chaos, they're going to run the other way. That's part of your fear, right?
They usually do.
So is your hope that you'll hook them sexually and so they'll overlook the chaos?
Guys don't like a woman who's tied down with 4 kids. I mean, I don't get to go out. If they're like, let's go do this, I can't because I have priorities and I stay home with my kids. I can't go on dates. I can't do stuff like that. We have this joke that as soon as I cook them dinner, they're gone. So.
Yeah. And she doesn't cook badly. She's a very good cook.
They shouldn't be sitting down to dinner with your children. Do not let these men have access to your children. If you hear nothing else I say, do not let them have access to children. Don't hide it. You can tell them you have children. You can tell them you have 4 children. Tell them you have 10. I don't care. But do not allow them to have access to your children.
Okay.
You are playing too desperately. And it chases, take it from guys, it chases them away. You are an attractive, intelligent, articulate young woman. Just give guys a chance to discover that. Why are you not dating her?
We've
tried that.
We tried that. We tried that a couple of times.
What would it take to go out with her again?
We've talked about this. We discussed this. And that's why I wrote the show. It's part of my motivation. It was a little selfish.
If I was to arrange for some counseling for her, and maybe for y'all to sit down as a couple and see if you could find some common ground, would you participate in that?
Absolutely. Yeah. It's just so possible.
And just to kind of get to know each other, and then I'd like to set that up, and then I would like to arrange for a legitimate, no kidding, verified babysitter, and and sends you two to Dallas for a nice weekend to have dinner and spend some time together and kind of chat one another up a little bit. How would that be? Would you be willing to do that?
Yes.
I mean, come on. I mean, she's here.
Well, he's my best friend.
Oh, there you go. Okay, so we're going to arrange some counseling. We're going to run a nice weekend for you guys to go, and I'll maybe be a matchmaker here. We'll give this a shot. Okay? Okay? All right. All right, up next, it's been 3 years since I last spoke to Nadia Suleman. Find out why I have to ask her again, what were you thinking? We'll be right back.
4, 5, 6, 7, and we're missing one more. How I'm managed to care for 14 children is I am off going 500 miles per hour nonstop. It is amazing. I'm sitting right now. A, B, C, D, E, F, G. I do not regret one thing in my life. I am in a very, very good place right now.
Well, when we first met my next guest 3 years ago, Nadia Suleman had just given birth to octuplets. Now, news media and tabloids were buzzing with stories about the single mother of 14. Well, now, 3 years later, Nadia is still making headlines. Take a look.
Octomom may be losing her house as Paul Boyd reports Nadia Suleman is facing foreclosure.
Nadia Suleman has declared bankruptcy. She says she owes $1 million.
Are Octomom's kids living in squalor? That's what Octomom's hairdresser is claiming.
It smells like urine and feces in there because the kids, you know, there's 8 of them potty training and going all over the place in their little portable potty.
Nadia Suleman's La Habra home was officially turned over to the bank today. It went up for auction, but got no bids. The opening bid was $355,643. No bids met the minimum, so the property was given back to the bank.
Well, we know she's tried stripping and acting in adult films, and now Octomom Nadia Suleman has a new way to raise money. She is dating for dollars. The mother of 14 now on a website called What's Your Price?
Well, Nadia says she's just a regular mom who happens to have 14 children. She says she's on a mission to prove to those who judge her that she can, in fact, do this on her own. Take a look.
This is Malia. I know that. Josiah. Baby. Careful. Jonah. My whole life revolves around my kids. I wake up for my kids. I work for my kids. I live for my kids. 4, 5, 6, 7, and who are missing? One more. I would rate my parenting skills on a scale of 1 to 10. I would rate it close to a 9. Let's go in timeout. Unacceptable behavior. We do not bite. I am taking care of all 14 kids alone. I have not had a nanny or babysitter in over a year and a half.
Nadia,
I'm here.
Can you relax and go outside?
I do have a select, very small group of friends who help me once in a while, and I'm so thankful for them. After our fruit, we're going on the trampoline. How I'm managed to care for 14 children is I am off going 300, 500 miles per hour nonstop. It is amazing. I'm sitting right now. Right now, if we weren't talking, I'd be cleaning, I'd be cooking, I'd be playing with them. I believe the public perceived me based upon what the lies fed from the media. I'm one perfect target. How dare this woman? And that's not, you know, yes, the only truth is I did give birth to a baby simultaneously. Did I plan it? No. So why did you try to have? I didn't. I tried to have one baby.
How are the babies doing, Nadia?
The media followed me everywhere. They created something called Octomom. When I hear the word Octomom, that's not me. It's just not that's not me, I'm a mom. Follow mommy, come on guys. The house has been in foreclosure for quite a while, and the bank owns it right now. So they're giving me that time I need to find a house and move. I've stopped welfare, not on welfare any longer. I am now no longer a burden on anybody. I am paying my taxes, and I work nonstop. Right now I'm doing whatsyourprice.com. It's actually a dating site. There's been quite large sums of money that have been offered by men. It's humbling for me to even meet someone who would spend any money on wanting to meet me. There was also a video I'm proud of. It's called Octomom Home Alone. It is considered soft porn. It's a self-pleasure video. My dad has not seen it. There's really almost nothing I won't do to provide for my family. I do not regret one thing in my life. I am in a very, very good place right now. My question for Dr. Phil would be, what are the steps I need to take to start really building an empire for my kids? I'd love people to see the truth of who I really am. Because if you're not liked, the reality is you're not marketable. No need to cry. I know you're tired.
Well, everyone asks what a day in the life of a mom with 14 kids is like.
My turn. Ready to go. I adore taking care of my children. Oh my, there's a gun in here. Oh dear. Not a real gun, a toy gun. For the bread. What the heck did I do with the bread? I think I am the antithesis of the worst mom in America. No, run. I am doing the best I can, and it is absolutely the most rewarding job. 4, 5, 6. Missing 2 people. A lot of people, unfortunately, are just waiting for my children to be taken from me, foaming at the mouth for my little ones. Oh, she failed. We knew she's gonna fail. We knew it. Guess what? They may think they won the battle, but we're gonna win the war. We already are winning the war. We're in such a good place right now. No. That's unacceptable behavior. You want time out?
Well, I have lots of questions for Nadia. I think she has some questions for me. So we're going to talk about all of that right after the break.
Everybody, 1, 2, 3. I want to hear shh. Baby factory closed forever. Baby factory closed. I will never, ever times a million consider having any more children. Thank you so much. I don't even know if I'm ready to become an octo grandma, but thanks for inquiring about that.
So what is the perception that people have of you that's gotten in your way over the last 3 years? It's been that long since you and I've talked.
It's been a while.
It has.
3.5 years.
Yeah.
I know they're getting...
So what is the perception that's getting in the way?
Everything actually is getting a lot more positive. The perspective has been, wrong from the beginning. And I always knew in my head, I'm not going to personalize it. I'm just going to realize that truth surfaces over who you are as a person over time. We live in the moment, my kids and I, and in the future. And my focus now is on all the exciting, endeavors that, I'm dipping my fingers into, all of the jobs and all the opportunities.
So you said that there's an empire you want to build.
That's a dream.
What's the empire?
Jobs like octoloan.com or whatsyourprice.com, they're kind of exaggerating that a bit. I have not begun that yet. That is a dating site. I have not started that yet.
You say that you hate people referring to you as Octomom, but yet you're doing Octoloan.
Here's the thing. From the beginning, I was pretty much desensitized. Right? That's another rumor. That I hate it. I can't really hate anything. You can't waste that much power and energy. I need it to take care of my kids. Yeah. So Octomom, my kids call me off. They would say, "Octo, be quiet. You're too loud. Your laugh is really, really loud and obnoxious." You can't personalize or take it too seriously.
How are you doing as a mother? You said you give yourself a 9?
Well, I don't want to rate it just like who would want to rate it right by a number? Some days, every mother, I don't think I'm any more special or indifferent than any other mom who's doing the best she can to provide for her family. Yeah. Of course I've had to eat so many of my words. I'd never do this, I'd never do that. But as a mom, when it comes to a point when you don't want to be a burden on society, there's pretty much almost anything you will.
Because you had said that, you said years ago,
yeah,
you said you would never take your clothes off for money.
I did. And I'm owning it. I ate my words. Because what happened was it came to a point where I have these boundaries. I'm still celibate, actually. It's been almost 14 years since I have been with a man or anybody. I've been with anybody. And I'm choosing that as being sacred. And now this is that sounds like an oxymoron, doing a soft porn, a self-pleasure video, yet choosing to remain celibate. But I'm focusing on positive. I did that. It's Octomom Home Alone. It's available on DVD through Wicked. It's doing very well, which is why we are doing well right now. We're moving. But Bank owns our home, but we are moving in the next couple of weeks.
Yeah. Right. So your hairdresser called CPS.
That wasn't my hairdresser.
Who was it?
Another rumor. It was a lady who had planned. I met through college years back. And she'd been planning, premeditating for over a year coming in, cutting my kids' hair. If you're a friend and you care, you're not going to completely go behind their back for money and do an interview without them knowing and have people follow you to make a police report. It was bogus. It turned out CPS found out that it was actually all premeditated on her you know, just to make money for herself, unfortunately.
She said that the place was really squalor. When our crew was there, they said that this house was a wreck. Is it?
It's absolutely not. It's clean. I clean constantly till like how many moms out there clean till the middle of the night? I mean, and I don't have a housekeeper. I clean myself. I'm constantly moving, constantly active and busy with the kids. And they are so beautiful and so well-behaved and so respectful. And a few years ago, you were saying, I don't think it's going to happen, but I pray it happens, that they'll follow you like little ducklings, and they're going to be healthy and walking behind you and running and jumping. There is not one disability in any of the 8, which is a miracle in and of itself.
Yeah. And so at this
think that
point,
deserves applause.
yeah, I mean, I'm glad they're healthy.
They're beyond healthy. They're
So,
beautiful.
so what are the things that you've had to compromise on? Because you said, you know, I've had to eat a lot of words. You said you'd never take your clothes off for money, but you've done that.
Yes, I did.
I
own that. I did that.
You did some gigs as a stripper.
Nope. One time, first and last ever attempt, it was not fully naked. I was at the end, the top part, and I realized this is not me. This is not who I am, and I'm not going to compromise myself ever again like that. Anytime I leave my family, it's to make money. Any job. Anytime I spend time away from them, it's
And
to
then you did
make
this
money.
soft porn Home Alone thing.
Octobomb Home Alone on
Yeah.
DVD, right.
And you said you're really proud of that, but yeah, that's something you said you would never do.
I had to eat my words, and I do own that. I own that as a mom, I'm doing the best I can to provide for my family. And again, I will do almost being the operative word, almost anything to provide for my family without being a burden on society.
Why did you want to be here today?
I want to be here today because I want to move forward. I want people to learn to let go of the past and to give me and my family a second chance so that we can make our lives and continue making our lives a positive, beautiful, wonderful experience.
You think being here today so people get to hear from you and know you helps your family?
Probably taking us, and being here will take a sledgehammer also, not necessarily to the word Octomom, because I don't personalize it, but what it represents. What it represents is something completely the antithesis of who I am as a person.
Right.
And I want to kill that image, that cartoon, you know, because I'm a mom just like any other mom who's going to do whatever she can do to the best of my ability.
Because we're obviously not paying you to be here today, but this helps you in that you're telling your you're telling your story, which helps your family.
And I want people to know that, you know, if I were not a good mom, I wouldn't be here. They wouldn't be healthy, happy. Not one bone of any of my 14 children has ever been broken. Not one of them has been injured. What does that say? That I am present, and I am patient, and I am a good mother. And everything I do, I live for them. And I would do anything for my kids.
All right, we got to take a break. Nadia said she's tired of people not liking her, and she wants to change her image. I mean, is that possible? I'm going to tell her what I think when we come back.
You know, prisoners go to jail, and you know what? They're given a second chance, right? Most of the time. And I've been in prison myself, and I think I'm worthy of being given a second chance. I've made mistakes in my past, and we all do. If we were impervious to making mistakes, our name would be God, not human, right? You just finished eating a huge meal. They don't stop eating.
Was it a mistake to try to have another child when you had 6 at home? Was that a mistake?
If I have to answer that question like I've done maybe 1,000 times before, I own that if I, at that time, having already 6 children, you know, what was I thinking?
Yeah. Not that you would give any of the 8 back, because once you have them, you love them.
I more than love. You can't even, none of us can fathom how much we love our children.
Yeah. How do you find the energy?
I was born abnormally hyperactive, which may be why I'm an only child.
I've heard people speculate that your energy was because you were on drugs. Have you ever fallen in that direction? Have you ever taken drugs?
I'm thanking God that I have never touched a cigarette, never touched drugs, never touched anything. First time I even tasted wine when it was a year ago when I turned 36.
Even our crew that we're taping with you were saying that your energy just went up and down, that you would just like be really hyper and then just like almost
I hadn't
comatose.
slept because I was like sleepy. I drank my coffee. I drank coffee and I woke up. But what happened was I had been up cleaning the night before and I slept maybe an hour. I was so tired.
Well, we asked a Hollywood crisis manager and Reputation.com's vice chairman, Howard Bragman, if Nadia were his client, how he would handle turning around the Reputation and the Emmys. This is the, I mean, this guy is he's the ultimate crisis manager. And he said at this point that the different things that you're doing with like Octolone and the soft porn video, as you call it, is kind of messaging to people that you're kind of a circus act.
Which I'm not.
I think your answer to that is that it's a short-term solution for you. You need money to exist this month, next month, right? And he said the respect that you would want would be from actually becoming a good mother if people stepped back and said, wow, there's 14 kids and she's making the sacrifices to actually make it work. And you feel like you're doing that, right?
I have done that. Here's the thing. If I had a real job, which I believe I do have real jobs, many jobs right now being offered to me, but a 9-to-5, every day, day in, day out job, I would never see the children. Most of the money would go on daycare. And basically, where are we going to be in 10 years from now? I'm not going to have nearly enough money to provide for paying for how many college educations.
We live in the world of the internet. Are you concerned that at some point your kids, even now, some of your older kids, and certainly soon your younger kids, are going to punch up the internet and see, well, here's a porn video with my mother?
The way I'm raising them is with complete honesty in their worlds, at their level. So they don't know the details, but they are aware of everything.
But with the
I'm
internet,
doing.
I mean, how old's your oldest now?
11. He is aware. They are aware.
Because they
in
can
their
punch
world.
this up on the internet at a friend's house and pull it up, and there it is.
I'm sorry to interrupt you, but with what we have experienced in regards to thousands of death threats and all the negativity and the hate, misplaced hate over the years, this will be one more little glitch that they will be pretty much desensitized by. I am honest with them. I look directly into every one of their eyes. Besides saying, I love you forever, I love you for always, as long as I'm living, my baby will be, to every single one of them, every day, since they were born. I tell them, this is what mom is doing.
Have you ever thought about leaving Los Angeles, leaving Hollywood, leaving La La Land, and going like to Omaha or somewhere where the cost of living is cheaper, and you could just be out of the news, out of the limelight, and just raise your family?
I don't live in Hollywood, and I don't live in La La Land. I live in La Habra, and I want to stay in the area where I've created my own little family. I don't have, much family, brothers and sisters, but I've created friends that are such a close network of friends that are my family, are my children's family. And if I'd be leaving home. I'd be leaving them.
Gotcha.
Yeah, that's why I would.
Thanks.
Thank you.
We'll be right back. Well, I want to thank my guest today. For more information about today's show and parenting, you can go to drphil.com. You can also look for us on Facebook and Twitter. And there's going to be a test for you to take to see if you are actually being a good role model. We always say about our kids, they just don't listen. Let me tell you, they may not listen, but they are always watching. Even if you don't know, they're watching you out of the corner of their eyes. So trust me, you are powerful role models in these children's lives. So take that quiz and see how you're doing. Thanks for being here. So long.
Today on Dr. Phil, Collude returns.
One of these people walked away from the family. Who do you think it is?
A bombshell big change.
Dr. Phil, I want to show you what I did to Fallon's wedding pictures.
But one thing hasn't changed.
Collude! Can I intervene here for a second?
Go ahead, but it's not going to help.
Collude's attitude.
You told me that if he was gone, that a hush would fall over your life.
Thank God.
He's gone and you're still yapping. Let's do it.
Have a good show, everybody. Here we go.
I hate to see people suffering, and you've hurt long enough.
Stand by, Dr. Phil. Ready, free. Take.
I'm going to get you the help that you need. This is going to be a changing day in your life.
go, Dr. Phil.
To tell you that my Twitter page is blowing up today. Canceled my hair appointment because Hot Mess Khulud is a must-see. Talked across, tweeted at Dr. Phil, God help us all. Out comes my Klonopin for this show. AK41 tweeted, at Dr. Phil, just deleted my mom's scheduled recordings. At Khulud, returning to your show trumps everything else. Sorry, Mom. Now, if you haven't guessed it by now, she's back. One of our most controversial mother-in-laws of all time is here today, and it is no surprise that viewers are chomping at the bit to give her a piece of their mind. Khulud first caught viewers' attention 3 years ago when she called her own son-in-law a dumbass on national television. She even had it in her phone, which I looked at. She spelled it wrong. But it was in there. Viewers have already been tweeting up a storm, and some will even participate in studio today via Polycom. If you also want to join the discussion, you can tweet me at Dr. Phil, #Khulud. God, is that what it's come to? Before I bring her out here, let me catch you up on where we left off with Khulud and her clan. Take a look.
At least I speak up.
Well, yes, you do.
And there's a lot of people who want to, but they don't have the to say it.
Honest to God, seriously, do you think I don't know how to conduct an interview?
No, I know you do.
Okay, then let me do it, because you may
Just
think...
get to the point. She's not showing respect in my home. She's getting heavy because she's not doing anything.
Shut your stupid mouth for 5 minutes.
I wouldn't have to
No.
control anything if they show respect.
I
in
think
my
you
home.
would argue with a statue.
Nope.
Khulud is arrogant, ignorant, loudmouth, no filter, thoughtless, heartless, careless, compassionateless. She's just ruthless.
My daughter deserves better. Why should she be the breadwinner? I think he's a dumbass. He's a loser. He is what he is.
Actually have him programmed into your cell phone. as
Sure it is.
dumbass.
Yep, because that's what he is.
You did spell it wrong, by the way.
I know. My husband and I have been married for 31 years. Because of all this stress and the situation, we're actually living totally apart.
God, help me. Just help me.
Since I have been on Dr. Phil's show, I have won. I have control of everything. Val and Steven are moving in my house today to be under my roof.
You actually got them to move back into your house.
In my house.
My mom promised that she would respect my husband.
If I could keep an eye on that dumbass. I'm very excited.
She promised that she would not interfere with our marriage and she would give us our space.
Fallon and Steven do not contribute anything.
Is the plan that y'all are going to continue to live with her?
Yeah.
This is crazy.
My husband and I bought them a townhouse to get them out of here. And guess what? They're living here still. Honestly, I wish and hope that one day you could come there and just live 24 hours.
If they gave me a choice and said you can go spend 24 hours in that home, or you can get in a phone booth with an alligator and sandpaper its ass.
No, you'd be with me.
I would be in the phone booth. I never got to sandpaper that alligator's ass, but I did fly to Detroit, Michigan, and paid them all a house call. This was a door knock I will never forget. I cannot believe I'm actually driving down Khulud's street.
Stop! Right here, Dr. Phil! Right here!
Yes, Susie.
What the hell? I think if we unscrewed the top of your head and looked in, it would scare the out of everybody. They go, holy guacamole.
Khulud and I argue a lot. We argue a lot.
And you started, not me.
Well, because they shouldn't be living here. And no matter
But they're
what
your kids.
It's very clear to me, you are addicted to the drama. You are addicted.
God.
If you didn't have this to complain about, I think you would be bored to death.
You're all getting on my nerves because they're living like filth in my home. No, honestly, they're driving me nuts. Seriously, they are driving me
you
nuts.
nuts. You think it's crazy to you? You should see it from my point of view.
That's
I'm
why I
sitting
wanted
at
you to come.
Khulud's dinner table, with 3 dogs and this bunch trying to tell me that you want them to leave and you don't. Listen,
I don't
I
break
expected to come in here and find blood splattered all over half the walls. I don't know how you people don't kill each other. You need to get out of here. You need to make the break. Move out. Go get on your own. You're 27. You don't want to move. You don't want them to move. I rest my case.
I've got an idea. You and Steve are not allowed here for 1 month.
Jerry, you have actually a really good idea. You guys should go to the townhouse for a month.
And I'm going to have this house immaculate and
That's
everything.
right. It'll be clean.
Okay.
And I want a video of the clean house. I want to see it clean. You cannot mother them for 30 days. You want the audience to know that it's not you that's creating all this drama. It's not you that creates all this. Now they're going to know. Because if you break the deal in the next 30 days, everybody in America is going to know you
are the problem.
No, I know I'm not the problem.
I admit they live
And
like
I want
pigs.
the audience to apologize to me because I'm not the mean person.
Apologize
Yes,
to you.
because they all call me names. I'm not a good mom and this and that.
You got something to prove over the
I'm
next
gonna
30
prove
days.
it.
Well, since then, one of these 4 people walked away from the family. Who do you think it is? Well, it's an unexpected update that may throw some viewers for a loop. Take a look.
Things got worse since Dr. Phil showed up here at the house, and I'm not happy about it. Fallon and Stephen moved out right after Dr. Phil told them to move in November. Now, Fallon has gotten really bad, and her marriage failed. I feel I'm always at odds with Fallon, and she's gone downhill. The way she's starting to look, the dress, not eating right. She's living in her own condo. She's always alone. She's always sleeping. I'm not surprised one bit that Stephen and Fallon's marriage failed. Didn't even make it 2 years to the marriage, for God's sake. So, yeah, he's a mistake. So, Dr. Phil, I want to show you what I did to Fallon's wedding pictures. I took all the wedding pictures down of him and Fallon. I did that to all the pictures of dumbass. The devil's gone. When I found out that Fallon and Stephen were getting divorced, I was happy. I'm finally getting rid of his dumbass. If she had just listened to us, this would never happened. Honestly, that was the worst mistake of her life.
A lot has changed since I last saw Khulud, but one thing that has not changed is her attitude. She still has a bone to pick with me. Surprise, surprise, surprise. Well, if she puts me in her phone, I hope she spells it right, whatever it is. We'll talk to her when we come back. Do you talk to the viewers on the message boards?
They piss me off, I will.
What's the worst thing you've said to a viewer?
And later,
Bring Khulud back out, please.
The reason I have to go to her house?
Would you wait till you at least get up
I just want to
here
let you know,
before you
the reason
start
I go to
arguing?
her house is because she doesn't text her mother back
The
or call her
reason-
to let me know that she was okay.
No.
People are very wrong about me. Like, I'm a bitch, I'm overbearing, I'm overprotective, I'm nosy. No, I'm none of those. I just want to make sure my daughter's okay.
Well, I said my Twitter account was blowing up during this show. During the break, BGirl081 tweeted the most aggressive, overbearing, infuriating person I've ever seen. I'm sure Khulud will have something to say about that when she joins us. Remember, you can also join the conversation by tweeting me at Dr. Phil, #Khulud. But first, let's hear her gripes about me. I can't wait.
I have a big bone to pick with Dr. Phil. He promised to help us in 30 days. I waited for Dr. Phil to call me after the 30 days. He never did. Fallon needed help. So I start texting the producers. Every time something happens to me with Stephen or if he said something, so instead of me hurting him, I was texting and writing and calling the producers because I didn't want to end up in jail.
What do you mean you're right and I'm wrong?
That's what I said. You didn't keep your word. You didn't keep your word when you said 30 days, and we really needed you at that point with my daughter.
You didn't do the 30-day plan.
Yeah, we did.
No,
we did more than 30 days, Dr. Phil.
No,
Just
let's
admit you
take
were
a
wrong.
look at what I said about the 30-day plan. Take a look. You guys should go to the townhouse for a month. Seriously, do not sleep here for a month. Don't bathe
But they
here,
can come
don't
eat
shower
here, right?
here. Do it for 30 days.
Can they eat here at least?
No.
They're just Just do that. God.
You cannot feed them for 30 days. You cannot do their laundry for 30 days. You cannot mother them for 30 days.
Okay, we're gonna try it, and I'm gonna have this house immaculate and
That's
everything.
right. It'll be clean.
Okay.
And I want a video of the clean house. I want to see it clean.
For once.
Admit what?
Everybody makes mistakes.
Who?
You made a mistake.
Oh,
okay? Just
I
say you're
admit
wrong.
that.
Just be a big boy and say it. I know when I make a mistake, I say I made a mistake. Well, I didn't make a mistake in this one. I was right.
What mistake have you made?
The only mistake I made is that the dumbass and Fallon, we threw a big wedding, and I didn't want to do that because I knew that she's going to end up divorced. I said it all along. I didn't like him or his family.
You wanted that to happen.
Well, because I was right. He is a dumbass. He's a loser. He didn't keep his words.
How do you know that their relationship
mother.
wouldn't have worked if you had butted out of it and
butted
left
out.
them there? They shouldn't have never. They should have never moved in with you.
You're not in my shoes. You don't know what was going on.
I told you you shouldn't have them move back to your house, and you said it was the biggest coup ever. You got them to move into your house. You were cheering on camera.
That's right,
I got
could
him to
keep an
move
eye
back
because
in.
I knew what kind of person he was.
Do you talk to the viewers on the message boards?
Oh, they piss me off, I will.
What's the worst thing you've said to a viewer?
There's a lot.
I got a beep button. Go ahead. What's the worst thing you've said to a viewer?
You're not living in my shoes.
Well,
or I can't remember, but there was a lot of.
I wanted the viewers to participate today.
Oh,
we have a
God.
viewer, Jennifer, who tweeted, "Khulud needs to
And does
take
she have one
binoculars
daughter?
off of her family and turn them on herself." Says you need to take the binoculars off your family and turn them on yourself.
Nope, I have no issues. I have no problems. I have no issues. I'm fine. I have nothing.
Well,
I'm perfect.
Okay, flip Jennifer up on Polly. I want to see this tweeter.
First of all, does she have a daughter? Only one daughter?
She can hear you and she can
Jennifer,
see you.
do you have one daughter, or how many kids do you have, or even if you have kids?
I have kids. And the fact that you never make a mistake says something.
No, you have an issue. You might have a lot of mistakes and issues, but I don't.
Okay, now,
I
wait a
have
second.
one daughter I live with, and he is a dumbass and always will be, and I seen through it, and Dr. Phil didn't. And none of the audience are seeing that. I don't understand that. Seriously, I don't understand that.
How do you know that she's an idiot? You just met her.
Because she's saying stupid things. She doesn't even know me. So what am I doing wrong?
Well, you know what? You're a pretty lady, and I think that you just express yourself in a negative light, and you need to turn the binoculars on yourself and take a look at what's going on the inside.
I don't care what people think of me. I don't care how they feel about me. I know how I feel about myself. I'm a very positive person. I say it like it is. I have one daughter, and I live with her and the dumbass.
Is there anyone she could have brought home that you would have been happy with?
Just somebody with a job. I don't care if he was a trash man. I have respect for everybody.
You disrespected me after
Okay, and I
meeting me for
apologize.
1
I'm a bigger
second.
person. I apologize. I'm just upset because all these people are thinking that I'm really a bad person, and I'm not a bad person.
All right, well, let's
I
take
apologize.
Let's
to
take
you.
a break. Fallon wrote me a
I'm still
heartfelt
waiting for
letter in
Dr.
the
Phil to
summer
apologize.
and wants to talk to me alone.
But don't believe everything. Because I have to be here, and I'll tell you everything, honest to God.
You can watch. We'll be right back.
Okay.
Since the last time we were in the show, things have definitely gotten worse. Steve and I did separate. Steve wasn't willing to work it out. He told me I needed to figure out how to work it out. It was all on me.
And later,
Your girlfriends and everybody else, you text them right back. Don't tell me no because I watch Facebook. She calls every... No.
Khulud, Irene, Betty, do you answer to anything?
Nope. I'm very concerned about Fallon. I drive by her house 2 to 3 times a week. What I do is I wait there to make sure she pulls up or something. If I have to sit 2 hours, I will sit 2 hours in my car just to make sure she's okay.
Okay, you just saw self-admitted monster-in-law, Khulud, staking out her daughter Fallon's condo. She's staking it out. Now, I have asked Khulud to step off stage so I can speak to Fallon alone. Khulud's daughter says she experienced huge life-changing events in the last year and a half. Take a look.
Since the last time we were in the show, things have definitely gotten worse.
Surprise!
Steve and I moved out the weekend that Dr. Phil had visited us. We officially moved into the townhouse. Steve and I were trying to make the house a home for ourselves and tried being married and being our own. And it was just kind of more real life, and it was hard. My mom would break the 30-day agreement by coming to the house when I wasn't here. Since the 30-day period, Steve and I did separate. Right now, waiting for a court date for the divorce. My primary issue with Steve was that he didn't want to spend the time with me that I wanted. We would argue a lot about how much time we spent together. Steve wasn't willing to work it out. When Steve and I separated, I needed to be away from everyone. I was definitely shutting my parents out. My mom still would send me messages that she was going to go to the hospital because she was so stressed out and her asthma was getting bad. She would try to guilt trip me into talking to her by saying that her health was at risk, or she would come to the house and I would hear her and I wouldn't let her in. She'd be knocking on the doors and the dog would go nuts or something, and I still would just ignore her. I needed to be alone.
If separating from her husband wasn't hard enough, Fallon also found out that her dream of having children is just not in the cards. Take a look.
The whole IVF process is a very invasive process. It's not natural and it's very expensive. It was very lonely for me. I would leave my doctor's appointments and I would cry on my way to work. I had always envisioned being a family and raising children. I think if Steve and I were able to conceive our own child, we would still be together. After the IVF failed, I decided I didn't want to go again. I didn't even go for a follow-up appointment because I knew my body and I knew I didn't want to put my body through this again. Steve was very disappointed that I gave up. I'm still dealing with the fact that I can't have my own. It sucks because since I was like 18, that's all I wanted was to be able to have my own. And I may never be a mom.
And I want to share with all of you and you at home some of the excerpts from Fallon's original email that she sent to me this summer. That's okay with you
Absolutely.
now, right? She said, Dr. Phil, this is Fallon, Crazy Khaloud's daughter. Steve and I are separated. He moved out almost 3 weeks ago. I've come to the conclusion that I will never harbor another living human being now. My whole life has changed. A lot of my issues were created by the way my mother has raised and treated me. She's controlling, intrusive, doesn't know boundaries, overbearing. I am turning into my mother. I am writing to you because I really do want help. Mm-hmm. When you say you will never harbor another human being in your life, tell me what your thoughts and feelings were as you wrote that.
I don't want to cry. It's just the realization that, like, I won't be able to bear my own child. I won't be able to carry my baby for 9 months and then one day look into their eyes and see my own eyes. It's just a reality that I had to come to. So.
I'm very sorry about that because I know that that was something that is important to you, and I know that you will have children in your life and
one day
you'll love them.
Adoption's never out of the,
Yeah, I mean, you'll love them the same. You say you are becoming your mother. How is that?
When Steve and I separated, I went through that dark period where I was doing a lot of self-reflection on what I did wrong in the marriage. And I do think that I was controlling. I was trying to control his time to be with me.
Well, Fallon says that her mother calls her sometimes 20 times a day, and she does not return her calls. But her mother is here, and she's been watching this backstage. We're going to bring her back out here next. We're going to talk about where this relationship is headed. The reason you go to house is because you don't respect boundaries.
No, I respect
The reason you go to house is because
daughter.
you're sneaking around bugging your daughter. You're like the crazy stalker woman.
Nope.
And later.
Do you even know what that means?
Well, now I do. What does it mean?
What does it mean?
You put your head in the booth. I don't know.
So you've never been motorboated?
If she did, she didn't know what the hell it was.
Fallon says her mom is intrusive and she wants her to respect her boundaries and stop coming to her house uninvited. Well, Khulud has her own plans about this. You need to watch this real close.
Look what I have. Fallon's house key. I kind of made a copy without her knowing about it. I go there about 2 to 3 times a week just to make sure my daughter's okay. I'm sure she knows that I'm there. I mean, I gotta let the dog out, nobody else does. Because she's never home. She's either at work, school, or bar hopping or something. Oh, look at it. I see poop here, I pick it up. So anyway, I have before and after pictures. Still a mess. But I help Steven clean all this, okay? And put all this out. That's what I do all the time to make sure he's clean and everything else. She'd rather be outside, having a good time, drinking, not being with her family, not doing what she's supposed to do. I think that's bad. Really? This. That's not his family. This is her bedroom. It's nice and neat after dumbass left. I'm gonna tell you something. Her house is so much nicer and neater and cleaner, right? This is dumbass's mess in his room, Dr. Phil. Okay, you've seen Fallon's, right? This is what, can't even open this door. This is what kind of a mess, I'm telling you, he was. Fallon threw everything, all his junk, out of this window. Everything. I like that, actually. I don't nosy around. I don't do any of that. I don't snoop around. Wine bottles, 2 empty ones, so Dr. Phil could see this. I opened the fridge. I thought I'd see food, but instead, liquor. Liquor, liquor everywhere. And I'm taking pictures for you, Dr. Phil. What the hell is this? Empty. Look. So, Dr. Phil, do you think she needs help? See, he's hungry. That's why he's eating so fast. I worry about him. That's why I come here mostly, because Fallon's an adult, but I really worry about him. I don't have grandkids, but I have granddogs.
Yeah, that dog really looks underfed. Bring Khulud back out, please.
Everything I've done so you could see that, so it wasn't my fault. And the reason I have to go to her house.
Would you wait till you at least get up here?
I just want to let you know,
before you
the reason I go to her house is because she doesn't text her mother back or call her to let me know that she was okay.
No.
Otherwise,
The reason, I want to correct some of your sentences as you say them. Okay. That's the only way to do it. You said the reason I go to her house is because blah, 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 blah. The reason you go to her house is because you don't respect boundaries.
No, I respect
boundaries. The reason you go to her house is because you're sneaking around bugging your daughter. You're like the crazy stalker woman.
Nope. If she would have texted me one time or called me, I wouldn't have a problem. I wouldn't have issues.
You don't call or text one time. You call like
because
10
you don't
times.
Answer me back.
I can't help it if I'm at work or at a movie.
But your girlfriends and everybody else, you text them right back. Don't tell me no because I watch Facebook. And you're always, I don't care. Within a minute, she calls every... No.
Khulud. Irene. Betty, do you answer to anything?
Nope.
Khulud, let me tell you something. I have stalkers on the police watch list.
I'm not a stalker.
That don't bug me as much as you bug her.
No. If she would have called me or said, Mom, I'm okay, I'm doing... That's all. She doesn't have to talk to me.
I don't have to tell you
I understand what you're going through.
Every day.
But I'm the one who warned you about the dumbass.
Why do I have to talk to you every day?
She doesn't want to talk to you.
I don't want to talk to her every day. I just want to make sure she's okay.
You cannot...
No, you're lying. You're lying, not me.
You cannot go like 10 minutes without talking.
Because you're not texting me back or calling me back.
Do I have to call you?
She's never with family. She's disconnected herself. Because of the dumbass. She was close to me,
He's
my
gone.
family.
You told me at one point that if he was gone, that a hush would fall over your life, that there would be peace, that there would be tranquility across the land.
Nope.
He's gone and you're still yapping.
Well, I have to worry about the dog. I wish you guys know. Do you like animals? Do you want to see the animal not getting fed,
Mom,
not being spending time?
Are taken good care
because they don't speak. The animals can't speak.
No crap, they can't speak.
You went downhill.
Really? Was my place look nice?
Okay,
I'm just reading. Look at that one room he left you.
I'm just reading some of this, so you get feedback from. I'm just reading some of the tweets that are coming in live right now. Jack Blackwell Yale said, "If Khulud was my mother, I'd drink too, and I'm not a drinker." What the heck, Khulud? You made a copy of her house key? They're outraged.
She doesn't know how to live
drama.
her life. If she knew how to live her life, Dr. Phil, she wouldn't have married the dumbass.
Hold it. These are Khulud's complaints about you. never listened to her parents when they told her not to marry the dumbass, doesn't call or text her mom when she reaches out to her, rude, sarcastic, doesn't treat Khulud like her mom, currently dating Khulud, afraid she will pick another loser.
You guys gotta agree
Still
with me
has
after
pictures of
seeing this.
Dumbass and his family in her home, keeps in touch with Dumbass and his family and friends, doesn't spend enough time with her only 3 grandparents, goddaughter or brother, doesn't spend enough time with the dogs,
Don't
drinking
say
too
you're
much and
surprised,
eating
'cause it's not
fast food
surprised.
only, doesn't eat what mom makes and takes to her home. It just gets
The
old.
mold, it turns to
Post
mold.
her entire life
But
on
she says, "I want
Facebook.
it."
God, I'm glad that list is over.
She wants me to cook
All
and
right.
she doesn't eat.
Jerry,
Why
the
would you
father,
lie?
says he is the mediator in this brewing battle between his wife and daughter. Find out why he believes both of them need to just chill out.
Oh my God.
Khulud keeps on trying to butt into Fallon's life, trying to tell her what to do, and she's just not letting her be the adult that she really is. Now, relationship between my daughter and my wife is gone into a death spiral.
I'm very worried that Fallon made me think about going back to Steve. I'm really concerned about that. And it'll be over my dead body if she does. Yeah, I'm either going to be in prison or have a heart attack.
Jerry says his wife Khulud constantly accuses him of not caring about their daughter Fallon.
It's true.
But he just has a different philosophy on how to handle her. Take a look.
Oh, jeez.
In each of the past episodes on Dr. Phil, we've gotten progressively better as a family. But now, relationship between my daughter and my wife is gone into a death spiral. And it's really sad. Khulud keeps on trying to butt into Fallon's life, trying to tell her what to do, and she's just not letting her be the adult that she really is. I'm not comfortable at all forcing my opinions or my thoughts or what I believe is the best thing on my daughter. I'll try to reinforce if I think it's really important, but in the end, she has to make her own decisions, and I just need to be there to help her if she needs it. Khulud constantly barrages Fallon with phone calls, with texts, with emails. Khulud needs to give Fallon her space.
In the last month, I've been living the single life. I've been going out a lot.
It is too soon for Fallon to date. There's no reason for her to rush.
I am being much more picky with dating than I was in the past.
She picked one loser. I'm afraid she's going to do the same again.
With online dating, you can be a lot pickier. I'm just meeting the guy. It's not saying I'm going to go and marry him. I told her that I was not going to tell her about any more dates because I didn't want to hear her opinion.
I heard through Facebook that she's dating. I'm very, very concerned. Jerry, come here. This is why I hate Facebook.
What the hell is that?
What's he looking at?
I'm so annoyed with my mom right now because in today's world, everything is internet. I can't avoid it. If I avoid it, I'm not going to meet anybody.
Who the hell is it?
I don't know. It says, why have you been missing from my life? See what he's looking at? Boobs. He wants to motorboat them. What the hell is that?
It's crazy what you can do now to find a person online.
I'm disappointed in her.
It really bothers me that my mom doesn't trust my instincts or my judgment on the people that I let enter my life. Back in her day, I'm sure her mom and father weren't happy about her meeting a guy at the bar.
What was she saying on Facebook that you think's so terrible?
Letting a guy look at her boobs, say motorboat, whatever the hell it is.
You're saying it didn't
I would
happen.
never let people look at.
He
Look at
didn't.
the picture.
Okay,
He
there's
didn't-
a picture of a guy of my friend. It was funny. He was looking at my boobs, and then my mom goes, "Why is he looking at your boobs?" On Facebook, and I go, "He
So
said he
what?
wanted to motorboat me as a joke," and she like lost it.
But why would you say that? Why
Do you-
would you say
do you
that?
even know what that means?
Well, now I do.
What does it mean?
What does it
You
mean?
put your head
She
in the
did
boobs.
not know what that
I don't know. Hell if I know. It doesn't sound right.
So you've,
But there's no reason for that.
you've never been motorboated. Come on, Jerry.
If she did, she didn't know what the hell it was.
Okay. How are you two getting along?
Fine.
Actually, since the 30 days, and by the way, just to make the record straight, for the 30 days, we actually did fully follow 30 days. The stuff you're talking about happened
No, we did, Fallon. Don't say no.
after
You're a
the
liar.
separation where
Nope.
she started really checking up on her and worrying about her.
So the 30 days of letting her be
You're drunk, you don't
completely
even know if
independent,
somebody's raping you or not.
you let her do it, right? You just 30 days you didn't have anything to do with her.
No.
Right? You didn't leave food on her doorstep.
No, I did not.
No, it was in my fridge.
No, I didn't.
Wait. She's got you on a technicality because she didn't see her.
Nope, I didn't.
Did you go in and put food in the refrigerator?
There'd be cans missing because my mom would take the cans of like pop cans and leave me change.
Well, because she's got bags like this.
I didn't have
What I do
bags
is
like this.
Yes, you
No,
do.
I didn't.
All beer.
Those are my friends' beer.
So
now.
during that 30 days,
so
you were
there.
using that key and going into her house and collecting cans?
I take care of the, no.
Yes.
I'm cleaning. I'm cleaning. I'm making sure the dog is okay. I'm making sure she's got food in the fridge.
Wasn't the plan for her to live independently
Okay,
on
but at
her
least
own?
call your mother once a week or once a couple of weeks.
Once a week? I
No
can't go
buts
once a
about
week.
it.
You did
Yeah.
not. ma'am. You did not.
All the time.
You did not.
I know, you call me.
Not even a text back.
Why would I text you?
Just tell me you're okay, for God's sake.
I'm okay. If I was okay an hour ago, I'm okay an hour
But
later.
you don't tell me that. You didn't tell me that.
No.
She could go a month without talking to
I
me.
was in a movie theater and I had like 8 missed calls,
Like I
6
said,
text messages.
I see it on Facebook. I know what she does. But you could go on
I didn't
this.
check it. I didn't check it on
Can I
Facebook.
intervene here for a second?
Go ahead, but it's not going to help because you still haven't said sorry.
I haven't said sorry about what?
Because you made a mistake and just admit it for once.
I made a
just
mistake
admitted
about
to that
what?
girl and said sorry. Just because you didn't come and check on us the 30 days that you promised us.
You didn't do the. First off, I did not tell you I was coming back after 30 days. I have it on tape. You didn't honor the 30 days.
I did.
You did not.
I didn't see her.
There's something I want.
We used to
I want
be
Fallon to
close.
hear when we come back. We'll be right back.
We used to be close.
Fallon doesn't treat me like a mom. She doesn't answer my calls. She doesn't return texts. She doesn't return messages. Nothing. My communication with Fallon, I don't have any. He's just completely taken her down. Oh, God, I said I'm not going to cry.
See? Because what you didn't listen to us, and I hate that dumbass.
You just said you hate
and
me?
I swear to God, if I ever see him and don't edit this, I will run his ass off. Because I hate him that much. And don't edit that.
Anyway.
Will you let me talk to her for a
Go
second?
ahead.
Without butting in?
I'm going to not promise, but I'm going to try.
There's one question that you would like to ask me. What is it?
So, since I'm dating, I don't know how to introduce a guy to her.
And don't introduce him to me.
I don't know how
because
to.
I don't want to see him.
I don't know how. Like, I really am afraid of ever bringing a guy home.
Because all you do is
Mom,
be
shut
losers.
up.
No, don't
This is
say.
my point.
Do
I
not
can't-
say shut up.
You're not trying.
But I'm just telling you, she's.
Okay, go
It's
ahead.
just I want to find, someone eventually, and I
a
feel
bar?
emotionally ready. Mom, stop it.
All right. I'm going to answer her question, and I'm going to give you some advice. Do you want my advice, or you just
Well,
want
it
to talk
depends
to
if
her?
it's right or not, because you still haven't apologized.
We asked the viewers on Twitter the following question: should I apologize to Collude? The results?
Unbelievable. After what she went through and I was right, and you guys both were wrong, and you knew I was right, I still don't get an apology.
What were
Something's
you
wrong.
right about?
You guys are both wrong about the dumbass.
So does that mean you don't want my advice?
I do want your advice. I wouldn't be here. But it's not helping. She's still the same
You haven't
person.
heard it yet.
Okay, go ahead.
You want a connection with your daughter.
Yeah.
You want to have reassurance that she's okay. And if she starts a new relationship, you're going to look with great interest to see whether or not she's kind of following a pattern or if she's setting a high standard.
She's
because you want the best for her.
That's all I've been asking
Right?
for.
And that is all reasonable. Any mother would want that. Any father would want that. Now, here's the advice. What you want is right and reasonable. The way you go about trying to get it is self-destructive.
If she
Your
doesn't
idea,
answer
listen,
me,
I'm
what do you wanna
talking, you're
do?
listening. If you're so smart, how come this relationship is so in the ditch? You should consider changing something. You could,
I did.
If you
I mean, for
want a
30 days,
different
what do you want me
result,
to do?
choose a different behavior.
Okay, so I should not make sure the dog is
Don't be
taken care of,
sarcastic
make
and
sure-
condescending.
No, but I'm just saying.
Don't be
I'm just
sarcastic
saying,
and
I'm just saying
condescending.
what you're asking
No,
me.
you're setting up a
So I
paper
shouldn't be
tiger and tearing
calling
it
her
down.
For a month. I don't know if she's dead. She's
That's a
drunk on the
paper
street.
tiger. You're setting
Do you
up a
read the news?
ridiculous.
Dr. Phil, I'm sure you read the news.
You're setting up a
I'm
ridiculous
sure you read the news,
example.
you watch the news.
You
All
either-
these girls are missing, guys are missing.
Collude. You either want to be happy or you want to be right, and those aren't
I
always
want
the same
both,
thing.
because I know I'm right.
But they're
and I'm
not always the same thing. you can set up an extreme example. Okay, so I'm not supposed to call her for a month. No.
What do you want me to do? My only daughter.
I'll tell you if you'll just listen.
Okay.
I want you to allow her to contact you. I want you to...
She's not doing it. I'm telling you, Dr. Phil.
Okay.
I know her.
Talk to me. I'll listen to you.
Oh, my God. Oh, my God. All these
Mom,
people.
he's talking.
Oh, my God. Oh,
Unless
my God. They don't
it's-
even know. But go ahead.
Okay, you didn't want to talk to me. At least
I'm
let me talk
listening,
to her.
I'm listening, and I respect
Okay.
it, but I know my daughter. She won't do it.
Your question was, I'm scared to bring anybody home.
She should be.
You should be. We agree. We agree on that.
agree on that.
We agree on
because
that
all she does is bring losers.
Because right now,
And all that wedding money.
your
oh my
mother
God.
is seeing things in a really dysfunctional way, and she would find fault with him unless she picked him.
No,
So
that's
here's
not true.
the point.
It's not true. Don't clap because
What
it's
you
not
need
true.
to understand
Don't clap.
is that you
Exactly
need
what
to
you
be independent, and you need to understand that her getting information about your life is a privilege. It's not a responsibility. If you have a caring heart, and you do, then you will recognize that despite the fact that I disagree with just about every single thing she does, I actually see past all of that and recognize that she is a very loving and caring woman and
Thank
truly
you.
wants the best for you.
Thank you.
She really is. She just doesn't have an edit button. She doesn't know how to pump the brake on her mouth.
I just
But
tell her
I
like it is.
tried.
No, she doesn't
Listen,
try.
Okay.
She's
I went
lying.
on one date. I went.
It's too close to the divorce. She's not even divorced.
let me-
you guys
let me
even know
finish.
that? She's not even
Let me
divorced.
finish.
They're legally
Talk to
separated.
me.
So?
Let her talk to them.
Who said so? A young girl?
If you've decided that
You're
you want to
single,
start
right?
dating,
Divorced?
then start dating. Absolutely, you should do that. You're
And don't
28.
talk.
You can do that if you want to. What I would hope is that you would do an autopsy on this last relationship that has died and say, okay, what went wrong here? What did I do that I can do better?
Yeah.
Because that will inform what I do in the future. And right now, if you're dating someone, you shouldn't take them home until this settles down. And you're not
You
ready
shouldn't
to be
be dating
taking somebody
anyone.
home to meet mama
No,
anyway.
no. And she shouldn't be dating.
All right,
because
next,
she's
we're going to
divorced, not
talk to
even
some of our
final.
tweeters who say they can't wait to face off with
Okay.
Khulud. Every time Khulud appears on the show, viewers go to the message boards on drphil.com to voice their opinions. This time, viewers have gotten to talk and tweet to Khulud live.
Kathy, I
Here's
can handle
what-
the truth.
Here's what Libby tweeted. I wonder if #Khulud will ever start thinking more like a mom and less like a kid who needs all the
That's
attention.
what's wrong with this world. Their parents are not like
So, Libby, are you there?
I'm here, Dr. Phil.
What'd you want to say to Khulud?
Okay, so Khulud, aren't you so tired? Aren't you just so tired of trying to control everything?
Libby, not to disrespect you, but I'm not controlling anything. Nope, I'm not. I just want my daughter to be happy because she picked loser after loser after loser. She doesn't tell you that dating was, every guy she brought was a
Okay,
loser.
let her.
She married. Why?
Okay, she's 28 years old.
It doesn't matter. That's
Okay.
not right. No, that's not right. That is not
Okay.
right, Libby.
All right, it looks like Rodney sides with Khulud. He tweeted, Dear Khulud, please tell me tomorrow you will dismiss the drama that is Fallon.
Thank you. But I can't do
Really,
that, my only
Rodney,
daughter.
what are you saying?
I'm saying that, come on, Fallon's old enough to be responsible for herself. She's got a mother that cares about her, loves her, obviously. Look what
Thank
she's
you.
doing. She's going out of her way to show how much she cares about her, and this is the thing she gets. She gets just
Oh
mauled
my
on
God,
national
you guys say, oh, but
by her
somebody's
daughter.
agreeing with me? Are you kidding me?
I gotta go. I want to thank all of my guests today and all the viewers who live tweeted today. To learn how to join upcoming shows live in studio,
Didn't
log
get
on to
anywhere.
drphil.com.
Didn't get anywhere.
Gee, I wonder why. Goodbye. You're not going to do it if you talk all the time and don't listen. All right, Jerry.
Today on Dr. Phil.
How long since you've seen your children?
Over 5 years.
Did her ex turn her kids against her?
He set out to make me look like I was crazy.
Or was it her behavior?
She's thrown her hot tea on me. She just gets angry. What?
that is driving her entire family away.
I was a loving mother.
What you're doing is not working. You blame everybody.
I don't want to play this blame game.
Listen, I'm going to conduct an interview here, and I'm sorry if you don't like the questions. You don't really want to hear any of this, do you?
I think it needs to be heard with a therapist because this is delusional.
Yeah, let's get somebody out here that knows what the hell they're doing. Let's do it.
Have a good show, everybody. Here we go.
I hate to see people suffering, and you've heard long enough.
Stand by, Dr. Phil.
I'm going to get you the help that you need.
In 5, 4,
This is going to be a changing day in your life.
Go, Dr. Phil.
How are you? Hey, guys. How you doing? Thanks for being here. Appreciate it. Thank you very much. All right. All of you parents out there, I want you to imagine that you've been married for 20 wonderful years. Then one day you wake up and everything seems to have changed. Your perception is that your entire family has turned on you. Your entire family has deserted you. You lose your spouse, your home, and most tragically, your children. Now, the children you raised, now all of a sudden, they don't even want to speak to you. They don't want to see you. And you just keep asking yourself, what have I done to deserve this? Well, Sarah says this is her story. Take a look.
Mark and I were married for 23 years. We raised 3 wonderful children together. I was the full-time mother. We were one big happy family. After being happily married for about 19 years, the marriage started to fall apart. My children turned on me. My husband turned on me as well. The children became very disrespectful, rude, and condescending. I was abused by my children. One of my sons called me a piece of... We don't talk that way. I would tell my children to do something and Mark would say, oh, you don't have to do that. Mark started making me out to be a bad person, that I was crazy, that I was irrational. I was so devastated. I felt horrible. They became monsters. They were nothing that I taught them. Manners, civility, respect, kindness.
I told her I love you, but I can't live with you anymore, and we need to move forward to get a divorce.
After the divorce, my children treated me like I was a disease. I was a plague. They wouldn't have anything to do with me. Over the course of 5 years, I have sent them about 1,500 emails and left 1,500 voicemails. My children have never returned an email and never returned a voicemail. There's no doubt in my mind that my ex-husband, Mark, has brainwashed our children against me.
So Sarah decided to take matters into her own hands. In fact, she has made it her mission, her crusade, to not only reunite with her own children, but she says help families everywhere.
My ex-husband, Mark, has used parental alienation strategies to teach my children to hate me, when in actuality, I'm their loving mother. Life without my children feels empty. It's horrible. I was so upset and frustrated that I decided to do something about it. I've created what I call a campaign to bring awareness to parental alienation and then help resolve it. I have some speaking engagements coming up, and my master plan is I'd like to get the money to hire a lobbyist. This is definitely my passion. On average, I'd say I spend about 12 hours a day working on this, at least. It makes me very angry to feel that I'm a victim of parental alienation, but it also empowers me. So I can help my children as well as millions of other children.
Okay, Sarah, I'm glad to meet you. I'm sorry for the circumstances. I wish we were talking about a happier situation with your family, but you feel that your husband has brainwashed your children and turned them against you, correct?
Correct. It's an indoctrination.
Do you think he did this consciously and purposely, that he set out to alienate them from you?
He set out to make me to look like I was crazy or a person that I'm not. It's called strategies, and they...
No, wait a minute. Don't give me a 101 on parental alienation syndrome. I want to know your experience. I want to talk about your situation.
Well, in my situation, I didn't understand. So I went to therapy, and they said, yes, this is what happens. Children's minds can be brainwashed, and I went through therapy to understand what happened to me and my children.
Okay, and at this point, you have how many children?
I have 3.
Okay, and you have no contact with any of them at all right now?
Well, I was advised to always keep in touch, email, let them know none of this was their fault, that I don't blame them, that I love them, that I'm here for them. We had beautiful relationships until the parental alienation started, and I reiterate this.
How long has it been since you've seen your children?
Over 5 years. No, I would like to talk about moving forward with my children. I'm a wonderful person, and I'm a kind mother.
Let's hear what Sarah's ex-husband, Mark, has to say.
Okay.
We had a pretty good marriage for the first 19 years. Just as we got to the 19th year, the dynamics during the marriage changed. Sarah became completely irrational and illogical. Sarah started more and more to get angry about things that made no sense. She became very unhappy. She would spend about 3 to 4 hours a night literally raking me about everything that I did wrong. Sarah, I believe, absolutely was abusing both myself and the children. She would yell out and she would claim that I was stupid and ignorant. I always thought that Sarah would snap out of it, and eventually I couldn't live with that anymore, so I needed to get divorced. Sarah's told me that she was going to destroy me and that she was going to win.
Well, Mark says that he had no choice but to take some drastic measures.
Sarah has attempted to make my life a living hell. If you don't agree with her, you're bad. It's as simple as that. She was writing emails telling me I was evil, I was a parental alienator, that I committed all sorts of frauds, and I believe the record one day was 21 emails.
I emailed my ex-husband, Mark, in a reasonable manner. I was peaceful, just like Gandhi and Martin Luther King talk about. I wanted to understand why my kids didn't want to see me.
The kids forwarded an email that their mother sent. The gist of that email was that she said that Osama bin Laden had been brought to justice, and the very next sentence said that a horrible person in their lives she was hoping to bring to justice as well.
I was not threatening him in any way. If there's some threat that he perceived something of a threat, he should have brought it to me. I don't have that behavior. I don't threaten people. I'm more collaborative.
I went to the police. I was extremely fearful of what it meant for my life. Ultimately, there was a restraining order issued to Sarah.
I feel like Mark got the restraining order so he could further align the children with him. Mark has tried to make me out to be crazy, unreasonable, and someone they should fear.
I am extremely concerned about what Sarah might do, and I have been told by professionals that I should be afraid of what she might do.
Tell me why you want to be here today.
I'd like to be here because I'm hopeful that somehow my ex-wife, Sarah, can figure out that I'm not an alienating parent, and also that, you know, the possibility of her somehow having some relationship with her children depends on changes that she's going to need to understand.
You want that relationship for her to have with
I've encouraged it all along. She doesn't understand it.
Mark has remarried, and his new wife is here. She, too, has a restraining order against Sarah, separate from her husband. We're going to meet her next. Plus, one of Sarah's children was, in fact, willing to come here today. What they remember of their childhood when we come back.
It's extremely important for Sarah to understand that I did not take our children away from her, that her actions, her statements are the ones that drove the kids away from her.
I am the enemy in my children's eyes. In all honesty, I'm their savior.
Well, Sarah is convinced that her ex-husband, Mark, is alienating her from her children. The once happy couple have not had any contact in nearly a year because he has a restraining order against her, which she says is unwarranted. And Mark isn't the only one with a restraining order against Sarah. His new wife, Mikkel, says she lives in fear of this 100-pound woman.
Sarah threatened me, calling me a high-priced call girl. I was spending her money. Mark stole from her. After being married to Mark for about a month, I got an email from Sarah. The first email was, "I'm sorry, I didn't mean to email you, so I won't contact you again." And I said, "Thank you." And after that, emails just kept going, escalating, getting worse. Over the course of 3 months, I must have received 100 emails.
The emails from Sarah were incredibly ugly.
If Mikkel felt threatened, she should have told me. She must be a pretty weak person. I'm trying to help.
I felt violated. The only option was to get a restraining order.
When I found out from Mikkel there was a restraining order, I was like disgusted. I was like, not these games again. What's next? They're looking to alienate me.
I am afraid of Sarah. When someone's that unstable and that angry, they just don't know what they're capable of.
Did you call her a high-priced call girl?
I don't recall. I know my therapist, when you say...
no, I'm asking you. Did you call her a high-priced call girl?
I don't recall.
I have a copy of an email here dated Friday, February 27th, and the subject line, it's from you, Sarah, to you, Mikkel, and the subject line is, "Are you any different than a high-priced call girl or a mistress who knowingly does wrong things and hurts innocent people for money? Have a nice weekend pretending to be someone you are not."
Okay, that could have very well been.
Well,
because I was going through therapy. Okay.
I mean,
you know, when my therapist, when I came to them and I said, this is going on, they're the ones that told me this is parental alienation.
On May 17th, you wrote to her, "You are a consenting adult and you do not have the Stockholm Syndrome. Do you plan on continuing to listen to Mark's lies? You could possibly find yourself in a situation where you will be unable to tell the judge that you were unaware of what was going on. I need to end this parental alienation, and my money, which I rightfully deserve, will help address some of the issues."
Right.
Does he have money that is yours?
That's what I've been told professionally, and I was also told professionally to contact the IRS, so I couldn't be an accomplice. And I had to do that to protect myself. I was told professionally. Contact the IRS, so I did.
Let's get back to the alienation here.
Okay.
How did he do it?
Well, all right, let me make it very simple. They lie, and this is what they do.
Not they. I'm asking you he. You keep talking about they.
Because they all fit a pattern.
No, I don't want to hear about the pattern.
Okay.
I want to know about what's happened in your case.
He's delusional, and he doesn't say it like it is. I am not anybody to fear or hate. I did what Gandhi and Martin Luther King do, and I use passive resistance. I use the emails to send to them to try and communicate, to say it's in the children's best interest to have both loving parents in their life. I'm a loving parent. I'm trying to use...
I'm sorry, I don't mean to be rude. My question was, what has he done to alienate your children from you?
He's filed restraining orders. He's told lies about me. He's told...
What has he lied about you? What did he say that was a lie about you?
He said that I'm dangerous, like when my son called me a piece of shit and I threw the water at him. He said, "Children, run to your room. She's going to attack you." I'm going to attack you. I've never attacked anybody in my life.
And what do you say about that?
Things.
I did not say that at all. Actually, one of the children went and called the police because of what she threw at him. And so he made the choice. He called the police.
He's known to lie. He lies on tax returns. He lies in other ways. That's his disposition. He lies that I'm dangerous. This is what they do. I don't want to play this blame game. I'm a really good person. I do a lot of good things.
Listen, I'm going to conduct an interview here, and I'm sorry if you don't like the questions. This is a he said, she said, and I'm trying to find out if, in fact, there is change-worthy behavior on one or both sides. Now, you're either lying or you're telling the truth.
I'm telling 100% the truth.
Like the tax returns.
I have
Let's take a break. Only one of Sarah's children was willing to come today and face their mother. 2 of them did not refuse. They adamantly refused. They said absolutely not. How do you feel about that? I was able to get one of them here, but not the other 2.
Been, just like the Middle East, what Carrie is doing, they've been indoctrinated to hate and fear.
I don't want to talk about Gandhi and Martin Luther King in the Middle East. I want to talk about your children here. Trying to stay focused here. Just trying to stay focused on your family and your children. We're going to hear from your child when we come back.
Good. Oh, what?
I have cut off all communication with my mom and not spoken with her in over 4 years. I'm about to sit down with her face to face, and I am nervous. I'm scared. I don't know if I'm ready to even see her again. I don't know if I want to see her right now.
Sarah has made a lot of claims over the last few years that I've paid off a lot of people. Sarah has been banned from a Jewish temple, and she's claiming that I paid the rabbi off. That's completely false. I absolutely believe that if the Dr. Phil show does not go the way that Sarah wants it to go, that she will make the claim that I paid Dr. Phil off.
Hey, Sarah is furious with her ex-husband, Mark. She believes that he is guilty of alienating their children from her with the help of his new wife, Mikkel.
Wait, excuse me, I'm not furious. As it was told by me, he's very sick and needs help. He's not a bad person, he's sick and needs help. I'm not furious.
All right, Sarah is very concerned about the... Sarah is very concerned about the mental illness that her husband may be suffering from that would make it okay with him to alienate children from their own mother. And let me tell you, if that's going on, it is a horrible, horrible thing to do that will come back and bite you in the end. Mark, I'm telling you, I guarantee you, if this is coming from you and you are falsely accusing him, then that's going to come back to bite you. And understand,
experts
since you're
have validated it. The experts told me
yeah,
that this
well,
is what
here's
was
an
going
expert
on.
telling you the jury's still out.
Okay.
And children can become alienated from a parent by the acts of the spouse, or they can become alienated from the parent by the acts of that parent. And I don't think there's any doubt that these children are alienated from you. That, I think, we can all agree on. We invited all 3 of Mark and Sarah's children to be here today. Her sons absolutely refused to have anything to do with their mother. They wouldn't discuss it. They were non-negotiable, said it's not happening. Only Julie, their 22-year-old daughter, agreed to share the stage with Sarah. She says in no way has her father alienated her from her mother. Take a look.
My mom has left me hundreds of voicemails, sent me hundreds of emails.
I still email my children and I call them regularly.
You can either understand the truth or live a lie.
I have no idea if they're getting them, but as a good parent, you're supposed to prepare your children for the future, and this is what I try and do.
She'll address them too. These are my wonderful but mentally abused children with parental alienation syndrome, telling me I'm sick, like how long am I gonna let my father control me? I need to learn to stand up to my dad, like 5, 6 pages long, just ranting. They were just all of her complaints.
I'm trying to be a voice of reason, but one thing I do not do is I do not badmouth their father. I talk in general terms. This is parental alienation. I have said, based on what professionals have told me, he's not a bad person, he's a sick person and needs help.
I've just completely ignored her.
It makes me feel horrible that I don't have communication with my daughter.
I truly believe that if she saw all my brothers and I, and we started talking to her, she'd stop her website. Like, she wouldn't continue doing it to help millions of children. And I know that for a fact.
Julie, come on out. Good to meet you. How are you?
I haven't seen you. How are you? Oh my God.
a seat right there. Julie, thank you for being here.
You're welcome.
Tell me why you want to be here today.
Well, I came here because I know something needs to change. She has no accountability for anything she's ever done to hurt me.
What have I done that's hurtful? I have only sent loving emails. What have I done?
You're saying that this parental alienation, like I've had issues with you, and I've told you since they got really bad at 6th grade, and that's
what.
Why do you think I went to boarding school?
Okay, you went to boarding school because you were bored at the school where you were, and your father and I thought it was
This
great.
would be a great time to listen.
Do you not remember, like, before I went to boarding school, we used to fight all the time.
Oh, mothers and daughters don't fight?
No, it's not normal for me to not be able to have a conversation with you.
So you're saying you're happy without me?
Yes.
There's a rabbi. You said Mark paid the rabbi
Something's
off.
going on with that.
Pastor Rick Warren, that Mark paid him
Rick
off.
Warren, you wouldn't get involved.
If you bought this boy off, you must have a lot of money. Now, I read every word that you said as we talked to you, your letters, your pre-interview, and I have put together what I think is your point of view in a timeline about how things went. You said, and these are quotes, I'm sorry that y'all have to kind of turn around a little bit.
You okay?
Yeah.
There's a real big one right here.
Oh,
right
I didn't.
here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, well, I thought you might want to stay by Julie's. You told us that from 85 to 08, that you guys had a wonderful marriage, that you gave examples, which I thought were great examples. That's why I keep asking you for personal examples. You said you and the kids would cook and bake, and that...
And knit. Julie's a good knitter.
See,
right?
Kids knit.
Yeah,
See, I think I didn't do my homework? Kids knit, and you were stay-at-home mom, and you said that you actually got loving emails from your kids at boarding school.
I do.
So, like, if you're just such a just unconscionable bitch, why would you get loving emails from your kids? Then in 2008, that's when you say that this parental alienation started.
That's correct.
You said that Mark is narcissistic, just like your father. Your kids, it's like overnight became monsters and mimic their father's behavior.
That's correct.
Okay? And you blame a lot of people for not intervening, not helping, not acting here.
I don't blame a lot of people.
Well, let's see. You said Mark brainwashed the kids.
Yes.
You said Mikkel's silence means supportive of parental alienation. You said the kids ganged up on you, that they're little versions of Mark.
That's correct.
You said the judge wanted to shut you up when you were complaining about a therapist and that Mark paid him off.
Yeah.
There was a unification therapist. You said that therapist was crooked and Mark paid the therapist off.
The therapist didn't practice safe haven therapy. I got this from my therapist.
Did you tell us that this was a crooked therapist and Mark paid him off?
Something happened in there, yeah.
There was a rabbi. You said Mark paid the rabbi
Something's
off.
going on with that, and I haven't gotten to the bottom of that. But, yeah, there's something going on in there.
Okay, and Pastor Rick Warren, that Mark paid him
Rick
off.
Warren, I said, could you stand as a therapist and mediate?
Okay.
And he wouldn't get involved.
Okay,
I'm just saying the facts. I'm not saying bad.
Right.
I didn't say he paid him off.
No, yes, you did say he paid him off. You told us that he paid him off.
There's something going on. There's something going on.
I'm sorry, Julie, what?
He sends me messages
Something's
saying
going on.
Dad pays off all these
Something's
people.
going on. And Les
No, I'm
Lynette-
talking to Julie.
Oh, I'm sorry.
She just sends me messages saying, like, my dad pays off all these people. Like, anyone who disagrees with her, my dad has to pay him.
I wouldn't, given certainly the tax allegations, I'm not going to discuss your income, but I do know, I know.
I don't have an IRS problem at all.
I know the pastor. He's a friend, and if you bought this boy off, you must have a lot of money. I'm saying he's got a lot of money.
I don't.
Okay.
Why won't he talk about parental alienation
It's not
and
his
just give us
problem.
sermons?
You do blame a lot of people.
I don't blame anybody. I'm taking the proactive approach, and I don't blame anybody. I'm stating the facts. I was a loving mother, did everything I can.
Sarah, you know, I said that the fuel that moves this train
Yeah,
is insight.
okay.
What ownership do you have in this problem, and what could you do to inspire an open mind on her part?
What I could do would be to continue to love you.
But it never was good before.
You don't. Wait a minute. I was a full-time mom, and you did really well, and we have all these
Just
pictures
because
of
I
you
did well
happy.
doesn't mean you hurt me. Didn't hurt me.
Well, then let's go to therapy and talk about it.
We've done that, and you fire the
I-
therapist when they don't agree with you.
Wait a minute. I never fired any therapist, and I get along fine. That was a strategy. We went to so many different therapists because my ex would say, I don't like this one. I'd say, I could try another one. I like this one. And then they
You
turn
pick
it
them all
on
and
you.
fire
This is
them
what they do.
all.
Well, then you pick the therapist that is very reputable. and we'll go to that
how about
one.
I
And we'll
pick
go to
one?
that one.
There is a whole lot more to this timeline. I am just getting started. We'll be right back. All right. Sarah and Mark's kids are alienated from their mother. Who is to blame is really the question. Now, one of those children is here, Julie, and she is here to talk to her mother for the first time in nearly 5 years. You have to understand that some of what you're doing is not working. You say, I don't blame anybody. You blame everybody. I mean, now let's take a look at this. Julie, help me out.
Okay.
This is Sarah's point of view about what happened. Now, you say that this was wonderful, that the kids baked and cooked and knitted and all of that, and I think that that was a big part of this family's life. I think it was wonderful. But it wasn't perfect, because Julie says that she was so stressed out that she was actually cutting between the ages of 8 and 11. You started...
Third grade through fifth grade.
Third grade through fifth grade. You started cutting yourself, correct?
Mm-hmm.
And I did not know that till right
I didn't tell anyone.
I'm
because-
sorry that you didn't know that till now, but I'm telling you, that is a high-stress situation, and you were doing it why?
For relief. Well, I didn't know why, but looking back, it was always like when my mom would yell at me for stupid reasons. Like, I felt like I could never do anything right. So like I always tried to follow rules, so I couldn't just say, oh, I'm gonna behave today and I won't get in trouble. Because no matter what I did, she'd always be yelling at me. So I would run up to my bathroom and cry every day and lock myself in my bathroom. When I was in there, sometimes I'd take like nail clippers and the sharp part. I didn't like try and kill myself and cut my wrist, but I would like cut my arms, like give myself bruises, because I didn't know what to do to like I felt like I could never make her happy. She was always yelling at me no matter what, and I did it for relief.
Look at all the photographs. They don't show this.
I didn't know.
Well, it's not something I'm proud of. I want to share. Like, why do I need to tell you I'm doing it? You're the one hurting me.
Move forward.
When you can't move
Let's
forward
move
without
forward.
you recognizing you have some things to work on as well.
And what did I do that bothered you so much?
Okay, well then let's
Okay, let me...
I will.
Let's
Julie, let me
address
help
it.
you answer that question, because we ask you these questions. And the point that this is where the insight comes in, Sarah, Mark, I want you guys to understand, because you're saying 85 to 08, everything was hunky-dory, and in 08, that's when the parent alienation started. That's that they were wonderful, perfect relationships until then.
And
Not
like-
perfect, but
was
certainly
overnight,
healthy
yes.
relationships.
I agree.
But the truth is that she reports, long before you ever accuse him of doing anything wrong, she's telling you that back in from 3rd to the 5th grade, she is cutting herself. People cut themselves to escape pain, to feel something, to relieve anxiety. Julie says mom is telling her that she is fat and antagonize her.
You were calling me fat to my face. You'd come up to me, pinch my stomach. You'd give me glares every time I eat. And you'd just be so rude to me about it.
I don't do those
Yes,
things.
you do.
That's not my pattern.
Yes, you
of
did.
behavior.
But she remembers, understand, reality is perception. You have described yourself as an alienation expert.
You did it
so
to me,
you
too.
have got to show some insight here.
I don't do those things.
You did it to me, too.
I don't do
Yes,
those.
you did. We watch you, and that's why we have problems with you, because you never remember anything you do wrong.
I don't remember. I have a very
We'll
good
try and
memory.
remember.
I don't behave this way.
Okay, it's really important that you hear what she's saying. And it doesn't mean you have to agree with it.
Okay, well, I think if we begin again, you will see I'm not that way.
Begin again without
And you
cheating.
have to begin again, and if we go through therapy and we can start, you will see I'm not that
Well,
way.
You really don't want to hear any of this, do you?
I think it needs to be heard with a therapist because this is delusional.
You're saying my
You're going to hear the rest of this.
Okay.
You throw hot water at your son, he calls the
She's
cops.
done it to me, too, in the car.
I'm just...
She's thrown her hot tea on me. She just gets angry, throws it back on me.
I don't even...
You've done that.
I don't even recall. I
the whole
drive.
issue. You don't recall anything
I don't
you do.
This is delusional. I don't.
You have no
do-
accountability for
How
anything
can I
you
drive
do?
and throw?
You really don't want to hear any of this, do you?
I think it needs to be heard with a therapist because this is delusional. You're saying the boys.
Let's get
You're
somebody
saying
out
the
here that knows
boys.
what the hell they're doing.
No, you were saying the boys. My boys. That's what I'm saying. You said the boys.
It's not their issue. It's your issue.
Okay, go ahead.
Sarah, you say that during this time, after the parental alienation started, that across this 5-year period, you send 1,500 emails and calls. The kids visit you, leave early. You go to Mark's house and throw a rock at the window and spray the house with a hose.
No, I was coming by and they wouldn't let me in, and I couldn't get their attention. So the hose was out there, so I turned the hose on, and they were there, and I sprayed the window. And then, you know the little pebbles?
Pea gravel.
Yeah, the pea gravel. And I threw that to get their attention. That's all it was.
You
It was
had our
the pea-
attention for hours,
But you
stalking us
wouldn't
around
let
the
me
house.
in
Why
to
did you
go
need
to
to
the
be in the house? And then you threatened to pee on the doorstep if we don't let you in.
What?
Yes, you did.
I came to pick up something, and I wanted to use the bathroom. And I don't speak the word pee. That's
No,
not.
you
that's
said-
not how I talk.
You said, I'm going to go to the
I
bathroom
said, go
on
to the
doorstep.
bathroom.
Okay,
And I went
same
to the
thing.
neighbor's house. But that was what that was about, to get their attention. I don't throw things.
You do a
That's
lot of
not
things
my
that are-
behavior.
So we're
Yes, sir.
talking hundreds and hundreds of
If you
emails.
don't talk to your children and you send them every couple days, is that so terrible when you don't talk to your children?
When we read what the emails say.
You did not produce emails or written documentation to us of Mark saying ugly things about you, but
Because I want to move forward.
we do have emails where you have said, written to your children, it is immoral to lie and it is illegal to lie to the judge and submit false documents to the court. I'm doing so much better now that I am away from your father and all of his mind games and demeaning ways he treated me. Something is wrong with him. Your father is delusional. He makes up things because of his mental illness. I'm sure your father is telling you lies about me again. They
Either,
ultimately
plus
got
they
restraining
didn't-
orders against you.
They
These
didn't get
two.
restraining
These
orders,
two.
they got
I'm saying these two got restraining orders against you.
They got restraining orders against me for the emails, they said. Because I never went to their house or saw them or did anything. It was all the emails. I never had any physical contact with them. I don't do those things.
Well, I gave your point of view. I've
I
now
was
given.
trying to write to them to try and help the situation, to get us to therapy, to get
I've now
some
given
help.
you their point of view.
Okay.
So now we have your point of view, we have their point of view.
Okay.
How do you feel about your dialogue with Julie today?
I feel that some things need to be gone over, you know, and talked in more detail to get to more of the root of the problem. You know, but also if she's talking about things that happened years ago and whatever, we're new people.
Right.
That we need to move forward.
That's right. We need to be new people today.
I've only gotten worse. You don't know me. I haven't seen you in 5 years.
Your voicemails, see some of your emails. You've gotten way worse. I think you need help. You need to realize Dad's not doing anything. You are the reason we don't talk to you because of things you've done, and we want to help you. That's why we're here.
Help, and my therapist advised me
do you
what
hear,
to do.
You're always quoting everybody from Gandhi to your therapist. Speak for yourself. Your daughter is here, and your daughter is saying...
I'm giving you a chance to get help here on the show.
My plan for this family when we come back. What can we all agree on? What we can agree is that the children are alienated from you. Why is that unhealthy circumstance true? Is it because one of the two parents is toxic? I mean, has something happened here? Has the father brainwashed these children into thinking that you are a bad person and a bad influence and that they should stay away from you? There are tools that alienators use to do that. And the tools that they use to do that is they use persistent and unfound criticism, right? They just badmouth you. They talk about the other parent. They limit contact. They try to keep the other parent away. They erase the other parent from the child's life. They take down pictures. They say you can't talk about them. They force rejection. Say, no, you have to reject her or you're betraying me. They do that. They create fear. Oh, I mean, that person's crazy or they're going to do something bad to you. They're going to ruin your life. They force a choice. They come up and say, if you love me, you won't be with them. If you love them, you're not going to be with me. They isolate children from the extended family of the other person. There are all of these tools that parents can use to alienate. On the other hand, there are parents that can become toxic in their interaction patterns to the point that children back away from them. And I said the fuel that drives this whole train is insight. You have to be willing to step out of yourself and look and go, wow, what I'm doing is not working. Do you support your children having a free choice to have a relationship with their mother?
Absolutely. I support a free choice for them.
Do you believe that it would be healthy to have a good relationship with their mother?
If it's possible, it would be healthy.
Are you open to, under the right circumstances, to say, all right, this is a beginning point. Would you participate in that? Are you willing to acknowledge that there are things you're doing that are contributing to the distance from your children and that you might want to take a new tact and try to build a relationship as a mother of an adult child?
It needs to be done.
So you're willing to
I
participate?
would love it. I've been trying to get them into therapy for 5 years. I love it.
Well, I've gotten this one to go.
Great.
And if that goes well, then I'll work on the other two.
That sounds fabulous to me.
But I think the first thing to do is lay some track here.
Okay, that'd be great.
We will follow this situation and see what happens. And I very much want to be involved in the therapist selection. We'll see you next time. Thank you so much.
নড়লি তো ভিডিও তো নড়বে না হ্যাঁ ওটা নড়তে পারে আমারটা নড়লে সমস্যা নেই আমারটা গিম্বেল মুটির মতন। ওর না বলছে আমারটা নড়লেও বোঝা যায় না তো, মনে হয় যে এরকম ঢেউ মারছে, তাই তো? হ্যাঁ হ্যাঁ। কি গাছের কাঠ রে? সব দেখি সব সাদা, তো মনে হচ্ছে সে কাশ্মীর থেকে নিয়ে আসা। গাঁজা খাবো, গাঁজা সারা বউদের গাঁজা খাবো। বলে দত্ত তোর সাথে আমার সাথে জেলখানায় দেখা, বলে আজ দুজন মিলে খাবো। বলে কি দেখেছিস? গাঁজা গাঁজা